Welcome to the Miskatonic Playhouse. I am the backstage manager, John Hedge, and I am delighted to introduce you to this fantastic cast. You may notice that our normal host is not here. That is because he pissed me off this week. I killed him, murdered him, dismembered him, and sent a piece of him, along as with one of his shirts, to each member of the staff this evening. What we're going to do is we're going to be playing Ghost Trade by Matt Tracey, and I'll now be handing over to him. Keeper, the stage is yours.
All right, so jumping right in.
Please introduce us first.
Oh, sure, of course, sure. I was going to say, he's handing it over to me there. I'm like, all right, I am Matt Tracey. I'm the author of this scenario, Ghost Trade, set in the 1920s up in Maine. And for our rest of our cast today, we have some fantastic players. I've said we have Hedge. Why don't we just kind of go around the Zoom screen here? So, Rina, tell us who you are and who you're playing.
Hi, I'm Rina Haenze, and I am playing Father John Miller.
Fantastic, fantastic. And Miranda?
Yes, I'm Miranda, and I'm playing Alice Thompson. You may not notice it because I'm in my Newman French maid outfit, but I'm actually playing a journalist today. Journalist Alice Thompson for Strange But True.
Fantastic. And last but possibly least, Nate, why don't you tell us who you are? Who you're playing?
I'm Nate Hughes. I am playing history professor Ed Loxton out of New York University. An honor to be here.
Fantastic. And Hedge, why don't you tell us who you're playing as well?
I will be playing Don Petris. I'm an occult stealer from New York.
Delightful. This is wonderful.
Yeah.
So
we're gonna love it.
So shall we raise our proverbial curtain as our party are all making their way to a small town in the Appalachian foothills known as Pennybrook, Maine. It's a quiet town, but there seem to be some strange things going on there lately that have drawn people there for one reason or another. So let's start with our investigators on the train, taking a train into town. Father Miller, you find yourself seated on a train. You see a strange mustachioed gentleman sitting a few booths away, as a man sitting opposite you, not too many people on the train, turns and says simply, are you heading to Pennybrook?
I am, my son.
Hi, have you heard what's been going on out there? It's a weird town, some strange stuff.
I have heard that there have been some interesting occurrences, but of course, nothing is weird or strange in God's plan.
So you're going to tell me that earthquakes up in Maine are normal?
Earthquakes are natural phenomenon. If there is to be an earthquake in Maine, it is because God ordained it.
It's one way to look at it. And I'll say, Professor Loxton, you can also kind of overhear this conversation happening, you being the mustachioed gentleman per the picture that you dropped in the Discord. But yeah,
Of course.
You're saying, earthquakes are God's will and all that. You haven't heard of the ghost?
Ghosts. I have heard of the Holy Ghost, of course.
Oh, no. This one's the Pennybrook ghost. People in town are talking about it all the time. They say there's a person walking around at night with a big lantern.
Seek and ye shall find. I wonder what your ghost is seeking.
I don't know what it's seeking, but I know people tend not to go around the cemetery at night. Something really weird's going on there. They say it's some say it's an urban legend, but I don't know.
Well, I will be sure to circumvent said ghost should I come upon it, but I don't think there's going to be much in the way of supernatural activity in this town.
Suit yourself. And he goes to fold up his newspaper and goes, but if you need to, here you go. And he hands you this paper, and Could you please handout number 1, please?
Oh,
It's a little news article. It may help out a bit there.
Father, did I hear you say Pennybrook?
you did, my son?
I'm going to slide into the seat across from you quite presumptuously. I'm on my way there as well. The earthquake. I hadn't heard about these ghosts, but the earthquake is of interest to me. Has the church sent someone to look into this?
I'm visiting at the request of one of my former parishioners who is not doing too well. This is merely a coincidence, I assure you.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I'm actually going out there intentionally to look into this, an earthquake in Maine. I overheard you, God's will and all this and that, but it is quite unusual. But I don't know, that strange gentleman, he talked about a ghost.
The only ghost I know is the holy variety.
Oh, well, that's fun. Because I myself believe in both the Holy Ghost and every other kind of ghost out there. And I wonder, a lantern doesn't seem, it's 1920 something, a lantern doesn't seem too off the wall, but a ghost. Maybe I'll head out to that cemetery at some point. It's possibly attached to the church then. Maybe I'll see you there.
You likely will. Perhaps I will have a visit to see what could be plaguing the holy ground. Perhaps I can speak to my counterpart at the church. Oh, goodness.
If you'd like, either of you can make me a natural world roll.
Natural world. Okay.
With a unique first roll to start the game off.
I hope you know, Keeper, that I am going to be hunting James Muddenfield down.
95, so definitely not.
See, this seems right. Earthquakes up in Maine.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the news is reporting about it more, just nothing really going on in the area, but everything seems fine. Everything's fine.
Mm.
But slowly the train chugs along. The two of you can converse and chat as you get closer, and slowly the last town that you pass disappears in the distance a bit. And you start to notice a strange, almost a mist on the outskirts of the tree line, and as if a fog has descended on the area as you pass into the Appalachian Mountains.
Oh, this all seems normal.
It's quite atmospheric. Reminds me a bit of a trip that I made to the Carpathian Basin, Father. Let me talk to you about it in detail for the rest of our journey.
Well, as Professor Loxton is boring Father Miller to near tears, I'm sure, with his talks of Carpathian basins and the like. Our other two investigators are approaching the town by car, I believe we established. And
yes.
As you're driving closer and closer to the town, you notice the trees start to get denser. And that fog is just it's getting thick. Kind of came out of nowhere. So could the two of you, and I'm sure Mariah's going to love this, give me a drive auto roll. Just to navigate this fog.
So I can drive away from this fucking place. Matt.
I mean...
I'm in fear of the fog, Matt.
I have failed.
You made my character scared of the fog.
Would you like a penalty die?
No, but I'm going to drive very fast.
You can drive very fast. Maybe on the other side, everything is fine.
I'm so distracted by the fog that I failed.
Conversely, I think I have been pretty distracted by the fog and so have slowed to a snail's pace.
Hopefully directly in front of me. So I'm gripping
Yeah.
the steering wheel, and I don't want to look at the fog, so I only have one eye kind of open.
So yeah, I really like that. So yeah, you see in front of you a car going at a snail's pace, and you slam on your brakes and just manage to bump the back of this car in front of you.
I get out of the car and I raise my hand and say, "Hey, I'm driving over here."
I'm sorry, good sir. I crack my window, but only slightly because I don't want the fog to get in.
Oh, that's going to cost. That's going to be expensive to repair.
Is it still
I don't know.
drivable?
I don't know. Maybe, but this is going to be an expensive repair. And I'm sorry, but that was definitely you rear-ending me there. That's sorry, but I'm going to have to take your details at the very least here.
Oh, that's okay. Hi, Alex Johnson. I stick my finger out the window. Alex Thompson. I don't even know my
We
own
shake
name. Right?
fingers.
Journalist.
Slightly weird.
Thank you. Journalist. I work for Strange but True! Exclamation mark at the end.
Hey, I know that paper. I read it, actually. I'm
Oh.
a big fan.
That's nice. Fog's really strange. And
It's fog. It
bad
does
omen,
that.
bad. No, fog does bad. Fog means bad things are gonna happen. So
Whoa, you're a dad in the wool believer, aren't you?
I
keep going southern. I need to get rid of that.
It's
Stay
okay. I
up-
mean, I
stay
don't
up
judge
here.
where you're from, sir. You can be from the north or the south. It's fine with me either way. But yeah, I don't really like the fog. Perhaps I could follow you into town for safety.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you.
Why don't you just
Where I
follow
do
me
the best
along a little bit
driving.
slower, Missy, and just try to avoid rear-ending me again. If you see the red lights, that means stop.
Okay, I'll try my best, but just honk if anything's coming up ahead.
What, like a cow?
Well, I don't know, something. It's hard to see things in the fog. Just, I don't
All
know,
right,
but something
okay.
coming out of the mist.
And then I proceed to get back in my car, having noted down that I'm going to try and sue Strange but True, and head slowly into town.
I see you inch along slowly but surely with Alice following you at a snail's pace, white knuckling the steering wheel as she goes. And it looks like as you get closer through the tree line, the mist seems to dissipate a bit. Opening up to a small town, I've dropped the map into Discord so you can kind of see the road and train lines in. But this seems to be a small little mountain town. And depending on where you'd like to go with your vehicles, you can see it's fairly clear. The mists have seemed to... You found a valley in this foothills that doesn't seem to quite have any fog at all, Alice. So you don't need to continue to hyperventilate as you try to
thank
operate
goodness.
your vehicle.
Thank goodness.
But as the two of you are slowly pulling in, a train does make it to the station as well. And it's just a large wooden building. It's the first thing you see as you come into town. Little wooden platform, marked Pennybrook. A few gentlemen mulling about here and there. They kind of watch as the cars pass by, as the train comes to a stop, as the brakes screech. So let's flip the camera back to our friends on the train for a brief minute, as the two of you are just putting your way through the mountains.
No, Father, I have last month's Strange but True. Would you be interested? I've read it cover to cover, and if you'd like, you seem to be collecting free newspapers. I'm happy to offer it to you.
No, thank you, my son. Such things, and he wrinkles his nose, are, if they are true, the work of the devil. Otherwise, they are the work of evil humans trying to show us untruths and lead us astray.
Oh, that seems to be quite a stark opinion. I thought you had told that strange boy earlier that everything under the sun was God's work. So surely God's work can only be one of goodness.
These things are not true, therefore they are not of God.
Well, of course, but they're also strange. So perhaps the strangeness counteracts the truth. There's an article in there about a communication device. Talks across great distances. I think it's of interest. Surely communication across great distances could only be beneficial for humanity as a whole. Think of your flock that you could tend if you could speak to them anywhere in the world.
It's called a telegram.
Yes, I suppose. Oh, geez, we're approaching. What a shithole this place seems to be. Look at it. Christ. I'm sorry. Oh, Father, I'm sorry. I apologize for my uncouth tongue.
Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain, my son.
Well, of course. Did I say it? I'm staying at the Duckham boarding house. Do you have lodging and accommodations, Father?
I believe we will be staying in the same place.
Outstanding. We could accompany each other.
Yes, that seems to be God's will in this moment.
Huh, strange. How do we met
But
on
true.
the train? But true. We appear to be becoming fast friends.
And as you begin to disembark, a few people do get off the train, but the gentleman who left the newspaper, there appears to be no sign of him among the people disembarking from the train. And in the train station itself, a small ticket booth, the board shows when the next train is leaving Pennybrook, and it's in a week.
Oh, geez, I don't know if my per diem is quite this prodigious. Did you realize we'd be trapped here for a week, Father, when you... Well, obviously your job is different than mine.
God will provide.
Well,
The early...
maybe
Can
you'll
I
give
have
me
my
a
car
loan.
just pull up as Father John says that?
You see two vehicles near bumper to bumper just slowly rolling into town.
And as I stop, slams the back of the car again.
I rear-end him again. I was very
Ah.
close.
You know, you were so excited about that drive auto, Miranda. Why don't you give me another drive auto roll just to see if you don't rear end him for once?
Nope, I do.
Okay,
Thank you.
that works.
As was intended.
See, you
Is
It was
there
God's will.
some kind of just looking at this place, there does not appear to be any kind of mechanic in this town?
there is not a mechanic, no.
Well,
But your car
I'm going
still
to pull up.
seems viable.
Excellent. I'm going to pull up by the diner, head on in, order a black coffee.
You walk into the diner, and I'm assuming Alice is either going to follow you or just stay with the two strange people standing on the train platform. But the diner itself is...
yeah.
Oh, good.
No,
But-
I'll accompany Mr. Petris, and thank him over, I mean, maybe we'll pay for his coffee, to thank him for accompanying me through that strange and dangerous and terrifying fog that I'm so afraid of.
Welcome. Thanks for coffee. You want to sit a while, get your bearings back together?
Oh, yes, I do need to calm myself a bit before I start my regular investigations about the town. So I appreciate that. Yes, a coffee for me as well.
A woman, you'd guess slightly middle-aged, walks up and pours a coffee. She goes, "A bit late for coffee, isn't it? But all right." She grabs two glasses, sets them down, and you two new in town?
Yeah.
The name's Maddie.
Yes.
My parents named me Miranda, but I go by Maddie.
That's an unfortunate name. Well, that's nice to meet you. Is it always so foggy around your town?
Mostly at night, but it's not too bad most of the time. Most people around here get kind of used to it being in the mountains and all.
I don't think I ever could. It took me, caught me quite off guard.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Tell you what, let me grab you a little pie. I think the kitchen is still serving a little bit of dinner, but if you want to I'll get you a slice of pie there. And she wanders back, and you see a woman in the kitchen just furiously cooking things through a window. And she slides a slice of pie through without much hesitation, brings it to him, and she goes, "Now there you go. This'll help you. It's on the house for the newcomers." And around the diner, it's fairly nondescript, very 1920s-esque diner. A few stools here and there. You see a well-dressed gentleman sitting in the corner, just sipping on a glass of water and the remnants of a sandwich. A man wearing a very well-pointed suit sitting in the corner. And as your pie arrives and your cup of coffee, she says, "I'll tell you what, if you're new in town, you're looking for something to pass the time, we got the library right there in the corner." You can see a stack of books. A library is a very generous term for what this is. It's more of a bookshelf. You guess like nowadays you might call it like a tiny library. There's maybe 20 books and a small bookshelf. She goes, "No, you ain't here because of the ghost, are you?"
Oh, well, actually, I mean, I don't know about my good, recent acquaintance, Mr. Petris here, but I do know that's, I mean, that might be one thing I'm interested in here. Sorry, I didn't introduce myself before, Maddie. I'm Alice, Thompson of the Strange But True. You may have heard of it or be before, and I am here just to gather in general sorts of information about any strange goings on, including a ghost. But yes, you tell me more about this ghost and maybe any other folklore or rumors around town about strange happenings.
Well, you want strange happenings? You've come to the right place. Maine is chock full of them, dear. And she smiles, and she goes, "I'll tell you what, I get off my shift in about 20 minutes. I can tell you now that the ghost might be coming out tonight. I tend to not go around there at night, but I have a feeling I know who it is."
No, you think this is not a actual verifiable haunting then? That someone is behind this?
Oh, it's a verifiable haunting. It's just Walter.
Okay, so you know the ghost has a name, then you know who the ghost is. Perhaps you've had business dealings with him before or something.
Well, of course I've had business dealings with my husband.
The ghost is your husband. You've married the ghost.
Well, he wasn't a ghost when I married him.
Oh. It would have been a much better story if he was a ghost when you married him.
Oh, no. He died about 2 years ago, and, well, I guess something came up that he had to come back.
And do you commune with this Walter regularly then? He comes out?
I tend not to go to the cemetery when he's out and about. It's still too scary at night for me, but I'll visit his grave during the daytime.
This is very interesting. And so just legally then, in the eyes, are you still married? Because he's a dead, but he's also a ghost. So he's still around. How does that work?
I guess the vows were till death do. I never thought about that.
After death? If he's still around, you haven't parted.
I'll have to ask Father Thaddeus to see what he says. But I tell you what, if you go around the cemetery now, don't go bothering Walter. He's a kind soul. He doesn't mean anybody any harm.
Oh, I'm not going to bother him. But if I can get a interview with a verifiable ghost husband, I think that would make an excellent story.
Well, I suppose I could. I'll stop by the cemetery first thing tomorrow and see what he says.
About how I talked to him tonight. Okay, so is there any way, if there bells or anything that could lure him out?
He doesn't tend to. People don't take kindly to him going around at night. They just kind of stay clear because, well, there's that groundskeeper Lenny at night.
So no one's tried to lure him out yet, but it sounds like he comes out on his own. That's fine. Well, I will.
Just be careful, though. Lenny's a little ornery at night sometimes. I mean, people don't think he's too smart, so he doesn't take too kindly to them walking around his cemetery at night.
No, that's okay. I have a gun, so I'm not too worried about it.
Oh, please don't shoot Lenny. He's a kind sweetheart. He wouldn't hurt a fly.
But don't worry, I'm not a good shot, so I'll probably miss. But it usually works to scare them off some. Regardless, though, that's neither here nor there. You've been very helpful to me, Maddie. I appreciate it, and perhaps we'll have to stop by. Are you working a shift again tomorrow?
I work here every day. I tell you, if I'm not here when you show up, she points like, you tell Meg back there that you're looking for me, and she'll make sure you're taken care of. Don't you worry.
Okay, well, that sounds perfect. I will stop in and see you again, regardless of whether or not I've talked to your husband, Ghost Walter.
All right. For a brief second there, let's flip the camera back to our friends at the train station who saw two cars rear end each other and then drive off into town.
Hey, I didn't rear end her. She rear ended me.
Each other. I like
car
that.
happened
I like
to be
that
rear-ended.
story better, where it was like mutual.
It's all about what you put in print.
I'm writing down details. Father, I've taken down the notes of this accident, so if we do run into these folks, the criminal who did run into that poor innocent driver in front will be able to seek restitution.
Or we could ask them for rides when they leave.
Oh, the friendly, I don't really do much with that friendly side of human relations. I'm a professor of history, you see. Work at a university.
I never would have guessed.
You know, I have an interest in religion too, but perhaps more. Are you a Catholic priest then? What?
Yes, my son.
Oh, it's interesting. It's interesting. All the things you talk about with eating the body of Christ. You know, there's a number of different religions all over the world, all through different time periods who did that exact same thing. In fact, there's a religion in South America that they literally believe that if you marry together, that marriage lasts beyond death. They feel that bond is. I mean, I think what do you Catholics say? Till death do us, until we're dead. They think that you will stay married until death do us until we're both dead. It's quite a different turn of phrase. I was on the research committee that actually translated some of the writings from them. I could tell it to you in detail if you'd like to accompany me to the boarding house.
Father John is dissociating. Just completely not paying attention.
Father, are you there, Father?
As Mr. Loxton is just rambling on, borderline incoherently about things, a gentleman comes out of the train station, closes the door, and says, "You're gonna have to head out of here. We're locking up for the night." Yeah, you got a place to stay?
I'm gonna ask him if he can, because I assume I have the address from my former parishioner, since she wrote to me. So I'll ask if he can tell me where that is so I can visit in the morning.
Oh, if you're looking for her address, oh no, you'll find her out at the diner. That's Miranda. She's a sweetheart, I tell you. She's real nice. She'll get you a cup of coffee and she'll take care of you. You're looking for Miranda, I think. Yeah, she should be working right now, or you'll find her at the cemetery. I don't know. She ain't one. She's at the other.
That's a very interesting split of one's time. Thank you, my son.
Well, ever since her husband died, she's been thinking he talks to her sometimes, and I don't believe too much in them, the ghost stories, but she says that he walks around the cemetery at night.
Oh, interesting. Is she from South America, sir?
I don't know where she's from. I never thought to ask.
Oh, just be a worthy question to investigate. I don't go anywhere that employs a Miranda, so I'm just going to take off to the boarding house. Father, if you'd like company on the walk, otherwise I shall stride off. And I stride off.
I'll
good.
Go along with him. Yes.
Oh, outstanding. I enjoy your company greatly, Father. In the past, when I've spoken to priests and other clergy, they've disappeared quite rapidly. I feel like we've really bonded.
Father John's doing what he does when he listens to really long, rambling confessions from that one parishioner who thinks they have to confess every single little thought that they've ever had in their entire lives, and is just mulling over his next sermon.
Well, there isn't really
himself
a
with
sin
translating
if
it to
someone
Latin.
done with their dinner at a different table in a diner, and you grab the plate and you eat. Is that stealing, Father? Is that I feel like that's not a sin.
I believe it is covered under the doctrine of, and then rambles off into a discussion of something that happened at the Council of Nicaea.
Oh, thank God. Oh, I mean, thank goodness. Well, no, I can say thank God.
You can
it's
say
literally,
thank God.
Yes, thank God.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, the two of you managed to. It's not a very far walk to the boarding house. You pass by a small diner in the process. You can see they're starting to close up for the night. But the boarding house, as you arrive, it's a large brick building, small swinging sign, and the door is ajar.
Oh, welcoming. Father, I can go in first if you'd like. For some reason, this professor of history has like a 60 or 70 strength, so 65 strength and 70 dex, size of 60. When I'm not lecturing, I'm clubbing things with a large iron stick. So I'm happy to go in first.
It's called
Woe
golfing.
to the students that go to office hours.
Mm-hmm.
I see you walk in and there's a long hallway, a stairwell to the right, a few pictures on the wall. Nobody in sight.
Hello? Anyone here?
You hear some footsteps coming down the stairs as a tired-looking gentleman comes down, sort of adjusts his suspenders a bit, and says, "Yeah, can I help you?"
Oh, Father, it's fine. It's fine. Your door was open, so we were being cautious when we entered. But I am, what is my name? I am Professor Ed Loxton. I have a reservation.
Oh, yeah. We got you right here, Professor. And who's your friend?
Father John Miller.
Oh, yeah. Maddie called about you. Said to have a room ready.
That was kind of her.
Yeah, she figured you were coming to town, and the trains aren't too frequent in these parts.
I noticed.
He says, so should I show you to your rooms? You got any questions about the town? What can I help you with? And he smiles a bit. And as he smiles, you can see his face looks deeply creased by years of age.
Mm.
But yet, the rest of him doesn't look old. His face looks older than his body is, you would think. And he holds out a hand.
Looks like you've lived here all your long years. You look to be about 50 or so. We hear that the place is haunted. Do you know anything about this? It's a special interest of
50?
mine.
50?
Ancient,
I'm not 50. I'm barely 32.
Oh, I'd like to roll psychology against this young man.
Go for it.
I probably have a 10. Oh, no. 33 under 35.
Yeah, he's being completely honest with you. He almost, in fact, you saying that, he looks offended that you've asked if he's, he basically insinuated he's in his 50s.
I let all that pass by me. I'm unattached to the concerns of others, but I do mouth back to the father. He's telling the truth. He is young. Oh, my good man. Let's let age. Let's not let age get in our way. Sorry, I apologize.
As you comment about his age and all of that, he kind of, maybe with that successful psychology, you can kind of see a tear start to roll down his cheek a little bit. He goes, "I'm sorry. It's just ever since my wife passed, I guess I haven't been taking care of myself that much."
We're sorry for your loss, my son.
Thank you.
She is with God.
Well, if that's what'll help you sleep at night, Father. Those that cemetery at night, I keep wanting to go and pray for her, but it's creepy out there. It's weird.
If you wish, I can perform some prayers for her when I visit my counterpart here.
That'd be great. Just be careful when you head out there, because it's I don't believe in ghosts, but something's out there.
I believe in ghosts, sir. Tell me exactly what it is that you're afraid of.
I don't want a ghost coming in here and messing all my stuff up. People say this ghost showed up about 2 years ago, and then things start getting weird. Things start disappearing, and I don't want to piss it off. You find the entire town in church on Sundays.
The ghost comes here into the boarding house, or does it stay in the cemetery?
No, the ghost stays in the cemetery, but I just don't want to. I don't want to be there the day it decides to figure out how to open the gate.
Oh, yes. It's an interesting bit of history. The gates around cemeteries exist to hold in the spirits. Yes. It's a widely held. That belief is held across many different cultures and religions. Cultures and religions that have never contacted each other. Some sort of, genetic or the grace of God alights upon the mind, regardless of what it is someone worships or believes.
He just
God
puts a
speaks
hand
to
on your
us all.
shoulder. He squeezes your shoulder a bit there, Professor, and says, "You're a weird guy, Professor, but whatever floats your boat." And he opens the door and goes, "Here's your room." And it's a sparse
go in.
room. There's a bed, small little dresser, nothing fancy. He says, "And Father, over here, you're just across the hall. Sounds like you and the professor are, you got a lot to talk about these days."
He certainly does.
Oh, yes, we're like best friends. I'm sorry, what did you say your name was?
Ryan Garfield.
Ryan. So not Duckham.
Oh, no, that's an old joke from a friend. When you say it properly, Professor, it's "do come in."
Oh, no one appreciates a smartass, Ryan. Well, thank you.
And nobody appreciates a professor like yourself either. I'm sure your students love you.
It's true, no one does appreciate me as they should.
Let's flip camera back to our other two friends who've been patiently waiting as we get an exposition dump out of an innkeeper.
I have my coffee, which I'm drinking. I'm lounging horrendously arrogantly across the booth, and I'm flicking through any vaguely interesting books I found in the library.
If you're just grabbing the first one you see, it appears to be a generic pulp book.
I'm gonna have a
Nothing
wee look
super
through and see
fancy.
if there's anything particularly interesting.
Sure. As you're looking through, we get the next handout, the library note, please. You can drop it in Discord as Steve has the rest. Oh, there you go. He beat me to it. There does appear to be a note taped to the books themselves. And as you wander back there, you hear a voice from the kitchen saying, "Don't take anything without signing it out."
Of course, Mac, don't worry about it. Now, if it's crossed off, does that mean the faith of our fathers is still here in the library?
Yes.
Have a wee grab, we shuffle through.
Sure.
Just I'm drinking my coffee, little evening's activity, because I'm, of course, waiting. Hold on a minute, I need to talk to Meg. I'm waiting for her shift to end.
As you're thumbing through the book, it appears to be a book about religion and truly believing in a higher power. Sort of a, this is what our fathers believed in, therefore we believe it as well to be true. It's a bit cliche, but overall nothing major.
Worth anything?
Give me an appraise roll.
Yes. What is call of rolls? I'm going to spend that point of luck. If it's okay with you, Keeper.
Oh, go for it. Yeah, this book,
Oh, sorry
maybe a
about
couple bucks. You'd guess maybe it's a couple bucks. Nothing major, but to the right person, you could try to flip it.
I'm going to sign out.
Okay.
Don, what do you think of this title of an article? Till death do us part, or does it?
I think it's kind of clumsy, to be honest.
Okay, yeah. Well, I'm workshopping some. I have love and loss and love again.
All right.
My marriage to a ghost, blessing or blasphemy.
He wasn't a ghost when I married him. It's pretty good.
Oh, you're right. That was pretty good. Okay, I'm gonna give you credit for that one. I should give her credit for that one.
So I'm literally just chilling here until the diner closes on purpose because I'm meant to be meeting Meg. So,
sure. Give me a spot hidden roll then, as you're waiting, and Alice, you can also give me a spot hidden roll.
Alice might not wait around with Don.
Okay, hey, you don't have to
because we're not besties.
Regular success.
Regular success. So you notice as you go up to get this book from the library, and even just thumbing through it back at your table, a very well-dressed gentleman packs up his bag, a nice leather satchel, and he throws down entirely too much money on the table. I mean, he's throwing down at least $3 for his food. And given the time period, that is an excessive amount of money. This would be a very, very large accident. He throws the money down and beelines out the door.
Can I pay attention to where he is going?
He walks out of the diner and then just makes a hard right.
Okay. I am going to keep that in mind.
Okay. See, with the spot hidden roll, you got a good look at his face. It's a fairly easily recognizable face. He's clean shaven. His hair is nice and clean. In fact, you might even notice he's wearing a white button-down shirt and a tie. Looks as if Newman were here but put together.
Yeah, okay. I'm going to pay attention to that. I do love a good mark. I always love selling things to people who believe in all sorts of things. Especially love selling to rich people because they have more money. But I'm still here to pick up an order, and I'm sitting here waiting for Meg to get off her shift.
Sure. And eventually her shift does come to an end, and you see a towel just get sort of tossed through the pass-through window. But as you're waiting, Alice, are you sticking around, or are you gonna wander away?
Alice would excuse herself. Mr. Petris, I was kind of sorry to meet you, but now I'm kind of glad I met you. But also, I feel like I'm going to be much more sorry in the future. But for now, I don't know where you're staying. I was probably going to stay at the inn or the boarding house or whatever it is. But I think I'm going to go check out the cemetery when we have maybe a little bit of light, and maybe talk to that Lenny character. I know she said to stay away from him, but I mean, if he's seeing the ghost on a regular basis, he probably has additional information on how and where to find this ghost.
Alice, I like you. You know why I like you?
Why is that?
Your tenacity. I like your tenacity. So here's what I'm telling you. Anything interesting? If you want to find someone, maybe partner up, help you write this article, maybe make a little bit of money on the side, you come back and see me. and we'll do this right.
Oh,
You and me, Alice, we're going to be a good team. Going to be a good team.
oh, okay. I appreciate what you've done for me so far, and I'm sure that I will see you again. It's a very small
All right,
town.
Alice,
We'll
you
almost
get to
certainly
work.
run into each other. Okay. Good day then.
And I'm just gonna
Petris.
lean back.
Sure. So let's stick with Don for a second here as Meg comes around from the kitchen. She has sort of a
You Meg?
large Meg, yes.
Yeah. Are you Meg?
Oh yeah. Yes. Are you Don?
That's me. You got my package?
She says, yeah, I got your package, but I don't have it with me right now. I tucked it away at the old doctor's office ever since the guy skipped town. People in this town get a little they get superstitious about these things, you know? You have
The
something
doc
weird.
skipped town?
Skipped town. I haven't seen him around in a while. The office is overgrown.
Well. All right. Well, shall we head over and get it?
I'll get it to you tomorrow. I worked a long shift. I promise.
Oh, all right. I'll come down here for breakfast. How's that sound?
Sounds great. And she kind of pats you on the shoulder.
I threw down very slightly too much money, but just like a regular tip.
Okay.
Whatever that is in 1920s Maine.
And she smiles and squeezes your shoulder a little bit and heads back to the kitchen area and goes, you got a place to stay. The boarding house has got plenty of rooms. Ain't nobody comes around here these days.
I guess I'm staying. All right. Well, maybe I'll. Dawn sort of wanders off towards the boarding house, wondering if he can basically convince Alice to do a whole bunch of work and then somehow take credit for it.
I mean, she owes you. She did rear-end your car.
Exactly. And I'm going to teach her a lot of things, especially about betrayal.
There's her second article of the trip, an article about betrayal and the trust in others.
Right. So yeah, I'm heading over to the boarding house.
Sure. And you're greeted by the same gentleman, Ryan Garvin, sort of sees you coming up the way, opens the door and says, "Need a room?"
I do.
All right, it's $4 a day.
So find $4 and then just no, I thought it's a $5 bill and I just hand it to him.
He looks at it and he pockets it and he goes, I'll get you your change tomorrow. Don't worry. Rooms up the stairs, third door on the left.
Excellent. May I get it wrong and accidentally walk into Professor Loxton's room just for sheer hilarity?
Please do.
I don't lock my door. And I don't wear trousers when I'm alone in my hotel room. And I don't wear a shirt, but I do wear my suspenders, and the suspenders clip into my, what are they called in 1920? My short clothes, my short pant, my underthings, my underthings.
Let's go with two. You take this.
Oh, sorry.
Oh my goodness. This room is occupied.
Wrong room, I guess. We'll just close it again. Find my way to the correct room.
Don, what's your appearance?
55.
Oh, that was a sort of a handsome young man. Interesting. I'll go over and I'll make sure my door is unlocked, and then I'll continue getting rest for a nighttime excursion.
Sure. And so as night slowly descends upon Pennybrook, the sun is slowly disappearing behind the mountains. It sounds as though our intrepid party is individually all making their way eventually towards this cemetery for one reason or another. So, Professor, how are you heading out from the boarding house? Are you making any friends along the way? Are you just stumbling across town?
naturally charismatic. I make friends everywhere I go, Keeper, as you've seen. But I will get dressed. I do notice, of course, the boarding house is, according to this map, next to the close to the church. 6, yes,
Close to. Nearby.
So if I'm on the 3rd floor, if I can find a window, maybe at the end of a hallway, I will take a quick peek. See if I probably can't see the cemetery, but see if there's any life at the church.
There doesn't appear to be any life at the church, but as you look out, you can see in almost a hill in the top right corner of that map area, you can see what you would guess to be a cemetery.
Oh, perfect. I will go to Father Miller's room. I'll knock quietly at the doors. Father, I'm going to visit this so-called haunted cemetery. If that is of interest to you. Otherwise, I apologize for disturbing you.
Oh, might as well. Most interesting thing about this town. And perhaps I can pray for our host's departed wife, since he seems so reluctant to go himself. Might as well.
All right.
Outstanding. And that will be, won't really do anything else, and just get my stuff and head out towards that cemetery.
Sure. Alice, I believe you were also heading to the cemetery.
Oh, yes. I have a ghost interview. I have a groundskeeper to interview.
You notice heading out, you see a priest and a mustachioed history professor walking out of the boarding house, heading their way toward the cemetery.
It's the tweed that gives it away.
Elbow
I
patches.
said that's a professor right there. And it's strange because I'm walking on one side of the road and they're walking on the other side of the road, and we keep looking at each other and then looking at the cemetery, and we're walking in the same direction, and I walk a little faster and then they walk a little faster. So I slow down and they also slow down, getting very suspicious of you two over there. Are you headed to the cemetery?
Yes, I believe you are as well.
Yes, it's the only thing in this direction. There's practically nothing in this town except for cemeteries and ghosts.
I'm glad to see you're not driving, ma'am.
Well, I left my. Oh, you two were at the train station or wherever.
Yes, we both witnessed your crime.
Well, I usually drive much better than that, but there's horrible fog outside of town. I may never leave if it doesn't dissipate. I will just settle here and work via correspondence.
Shouting across the street back and forth.
Yeah.
I was going to
Waking
say, can
people
I
up.
open my window and just shout, "Well, y'all shut up! Some of us are trying to sleep."
Please do
Damn
that,
kids,
Donna.
get off my lawn.
Oh,
Yeah,
my apologies, Mr. Petris.
You do make your way to the cemetery, and as it is past dusk, the gates are closed.
Do you folks know anything about this ghost here?
It's the talk of the town, but I don't know anything about it. That's what I'd like to investigate. I'm quite a
Father?
fan of the supernatural and the occult, you see. I feel like there's logical explanations for all of these mysteries in the world, and I find myself drawn towards these situations.
Actually, I have a good question for you, Father. If two people are married and one of them dies, and then death has thus parted them, and now the ghost has come back, are they still married because her husband is around? He's just a ghost. This is afterlife business. Are the in the Lord's eyes, are they still married?
Ghosts aren't real. If there is some presence in the cemetery, it is likely of the devil.
Oh,
And
wait,
therefore they
are
would
they
not be
South
married.
American or not? It's
I don't know,
important,
his
Father.
name's
Are they
Wal-
South
his name's-
American?
I don't think so. His name's Walter, the ghost.
Well, demons can be named Walter. It is the modern era.
Oh yes, a demon can be named anything. That's a good. The young lady at the she was at the diner, she said that it's her husband. Her husband Walter is the ghost. First, she said, "I know who the ghost is," and I thought, "Oh, okay, you know who's behind these hauntings, and this is going to be something where we pull a mask off of someone and reveal that they would have gotten away with it if it wasn't for us." But that's not actually the case. She says it's a real ghost, and that it's her husband, Walter.
The devil is the great deceiver, my child. Makes us see things that we wish to see.
Oh, I've seen many things. Alice Thompson, by the way, I work for Strange But True. Strange But True! Exclamation mark.
You work for Strange But True.
Oh, yes.
I'm a subscriber.
writer.
I read every one of... Father, that is the magazine that I gave you, the journal, the intellectual material. I think I've heard of you, Miss Thompson.
Oh, you may very well have.
Oh, what an honor! What an honor! I'm Professor Loxton. I work at New York University.
Oh, a pleasure to make your acquaintance. It would appear that we're all interested in ghost hunting here this day. Perhaps, I could afterwards. I can interview, and I could put some of your accounts of whatever we encounter in the cemetery in my article that I'm writing about this ghost.
I too am working on a treatise that I'm writing down notes for and doing research, and perhaps you can be found in mine, and I can be found in yours, and the Father can corroborate both of ours, and within this holy union, we may get to the bottom of some of these supernatural mysteries.
Yes, I believe that sounds like a deal to me. I should warn you, we were warned that Lenny, the groundskeeper, may be aggressive, I think, but don't worry, I have a gun. So we should be fine, but I don't know if it'd be better or worse if we approach in a pack formation.
Do you shoot better than you drive, Miss Thompson, is my only question.
No, absolutely not. I would say that I shoot about half as well as I drive.
Father, we should walk behind Miss Thompson at all times, I believe.
Remember, murder is a sin, my child.
Oh, no, I mostly use it to scare them. I just shoot in their general direction.
So you make your way to the cemetery, planning to possibly shoot somebody in the interior.
Shoot at.
I apologize. Well, if you're a bad shot and aiming to miss, you might hit. But you find yourself stymied by one major issue getting into the cemetery is that the gates are locked.
One of you boost me over.
Somebody going to boost
Professor?
Alice over?
Make a tiny bridge out of your hands.
You could attempt a climb roll if you'd like. It's just a wrought iron fence.
But
Does it
I
have the
feel like
pointy bits on top?
I feel like I could maybe have an advantage at climbing if someone makes a tiny bridge out of their hands that I could stand upon.
I will give you a bonus die if somebody's willing to boost you up.
I've made a tiny bridge out of my hand.
Stealing.
Thank you,
Scripture's
Professor.
a lot to say about stealing, but not much about breaking and entering, so I suppose we're fine. I'll help out as well.
As you're climbing up, you can feel your fingers finding promise in parts of the fence. And you can see the words, "May their light shine on the gate itself. A place you can probably squeeze a foothold in as you're being boosted. So why don't you give me a climb roll with a bonus die?
Okay, so I rolled an 84 over 20.
And the bonus die is a 9, so let's say it's an 84.
Yes, so I rolled an 84 over 20, Doc. Thank you.
So you do manage to make it over the fence, but you are going to take a small penalty as you kind of twist your ankle coming down.
I'm assuming it's because the professor doesn't quite let go of it. And as I start to fall, he holds my foot, my leg twists around.
You
Well,
are
you see,
going
I
to
got
lose
distracted.
1 hit point.
Father, as I was, come on, Alice. Well, as I was in my room earlier, a man stumbled into my hotel. Would you just go, Alice? Stumbled into my room unannounced and without knocking and gazed upon me in my Alice, good God! Gah!
There are these
And
things
so
called locks on doors, Professor.
Ah! So I fall on the other side.
good advice. It's good advice. I'll think on that. I wasn't complaining, per se. I was just telling you about the thing that happened.
I start limping my way over to the gate to try to open it from this side for them.
Alice,
So you
hurry
do
up.
that-
Why are you walking so slowly?
I
So you do
twisted my
manage to-
ankle.
You can pop the gate from the interior, and it does swing open as you limp your way in. But there is something that you notice in the distance, Alice. As you're inside of this cemetery,
Is it a ghost?
it's really foggy in this cemetery.
Son of a bitch.
But you have friends with you. Your friends can help you, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
The professor
Perhaps-
and the priest.
Perhaps the both of you could, instead of walking behind me, could walk in front of me and wave a fan to fan the fog away. It's almost as if I'm deathly afraid of something that seems to be in every single location, which really feels unfair.
You're the one who wanted to drive.
Oh, that's a shame. Miss Thompson, I too am afraid of something. I'm afraid of people looking upon me, but I've chosen to ignore that because that would be a pain in my ass to keep track of.
I'm not afraid of anything.
Father
Personally.
shall lead us all.
Father, and perhaps take your Bible or something and fan the fog away.
The Lord is with me. I have no need to fear.
No good. I'm glad that
I
makes one of us.
I personally
appreciate
put on
you've
the
made
whole
this a
armor of God
crippling
every
phobia.
morning.
Like you made this a crippling phobia instead of just I'm a little scared too. I can't do anything.
Surrounded by fog in every location.
So Father, it sounds like you're the one taking point in this
I
cemetery invasion.
March forward with the armor of the Lord.
Why don't
I've
you
never
give
been
me-
accused of exaggerating something that was innocently put on a character sheet before.
Never?
Mm-mm. Nope.
Well, I won't be the first then. Father, would you mind giving me a spot hidden roll?
I can try.
Please do.
Let's see.
I apologize. You should have screamed perfectly timed there. My neighbors are outside.
Oh, I succeeded. 27 under 40.
So you can see there are a number of headstones and things, as you'd expect of center, much like the background here. And it is getting dark. And you can see a bright light in the distance, cutting through the mists.
Perhaps the groundskeeper is here.
Give
You
me a luck roll.
You wanted to speak to him, Miss Thompson, as I make my luck roll.
Oh, yes, I did. I was hoping to get some information from him, as he's likely has seen the ghost the most.
53 under 65.
Oh, that's beautiful. That is beautiful. Because the light passes along as if on a patrol of sorts before coming to rest pointing directly at the three of you. You can hear the heavy crunch of work boots on the dirt as a very tall, imposing figure stands in front of you. One hand, a shovel across his shoulders. And he shouts, "Who will let you in here?"
Well, I made a little bridge with my hands, sir, and then I boosted up the young lady.
I technically let them in here, but I feel like this is a public cemetery. Are you Lenny or Walter? Am I speaking to?
Alter's dead. Name's Lenny.
Oh yes, Lenny. I'm aware that Walter's dead, but I've heard that he's back.
That's a bunch of nonsense. People just get worried about me making my rounds at night, keeping ruffians like you out of here.
Oh,
You
so
said
they
you made
think
a
that you're the
bridge
ghost.
with your
You're the
hands?
ghost. Yes, he made a
points
bridge
it-
with his hands. Yes.
He points his shovel with one hand, which You would notice it would take a lot of strength to balance a shovel with one hand as a pointing implement. Points at you, Professor, and says, "You made a bridge with your hands to break into my cemetery?"
No, to enter to pay our respects to the ghost, who apparently is married. You know, it's fascinating. Some cultures believe that marriage persists, and we wanted to speak to the ghost and see what their views are on this.
I am here to pray
Yeah.
for the souls of the departed.
And the father
You
here
know,
is
when
also
gates are closed, he's cutting you off. When gates
No,
are
they're
closed,
open.
cemeteries
They're
are
open
usually
now.
closed.
They're open now,
Knock and the door shall be opened unto you.
Just puts
as
his,
the father says.
just shakes his head. Did you break my lock? And he starts poking you, Professor, with the shovel.
This is tweed, sir. You can see that I'm no harm. I even have elbow patches. I'm no ruffian. There's no need to poke me with your shovel.
You
Also,
wanna
I'm pretty
pay your
strong too. We
respects,
could
you
arm
can come
wrestle.
back in the morning. And as you say that, you notice you may be strong. This man looks like he digs graves for a living. He kind of pushes. You want to pay your respects? You can come back in the morning like everybody else. Maddie usually comes through first thing in the morning. You can go with her if you want.
Yes, she did say that she doesn't come here at night because she's not ready to face her husband yet again. She only comes and talks to him during the day. But she did say that he is a ghost, and I did find the young girl. Perhaps it's because of her name is such a trustful name that I believed her. Her full name, obviously, not her longer name. Her full name, which I refuse to speak for some reason. But honest. Could just 5-10 minutes take a look around. By the way, I'm Alice. I'm a journalist for Strange But True. I'd be happy to put you in my paper and your thoughts on this, and that it's rubbish and nonsense. I'd be happy to include that in my article that I'm writing. If you would possibly just give us maybe 5 to 10 minutes to look around tonight, and then we can come back in the morning with Maddie.
Give me a persuade roll.
That's what I was going for, because it's... Oh, that's not what I was going for. I'm not terribly persuasive, but I'm slightly persuasive, but not that persuasive. That was a 43 over 25.
So he kind of looks, he goes, "You can have 2 minutes to make your way back to the front gate and get the hell out of here, okay?"
Could I have $5 worth of minutes, which is that $1 a minute, or
This
I have
sounds
$5 too.
like a push
I'll
roll
add
here.
$5. 10.
worth of minutes?
10, Lenny. I'm sure that's
I'm-
like a week's worth of grave digging. Or Walter, I've quite forgotten your name. I don't
This
know if you're the
one's
ghost
Lenny.
or not. Lenny, Squiggy, Lenny, I'm not sure. Laverne.
Squeaky. Yeah, this does sound like a pushed roll there, Miranda.
Okay, that sounds great.
What?
It's a push roll plus $10.
Okay, you can have a bonus die on the pushed roll, but either way, he's keeping your $10.
That's fine. It's only 5 of mine.
Oh, so close. Oh.
Nope.
Oh, and
That is a 28 over 25.
he takes the money out of your hand, both of your hands, and says, "You disrespect this house of God, this home of the deceased. You think I can be shaking the money? You think I can be bought for extra time after hours with this nonsense? Get out of my cemetery, or I'm going to throw you out myself."
Yes, sir. We'll be back in the morning to make a better acquaintance with Maddie, I suppose.
I bet you will. And as you're walking back, assumedly,
Alice,
Unless
why
you wanna
did
try
you
to-
shoot him?
I contemplated shooting in his general direction, but I think it's still pretty early on in our investigation, and we should possibly save our bullets for later.
He was right there. You would have been sure to hit. And then we could have investigated. Maybe there'd have been 2 ghosts, and it would have doubled my research.
I do worry about committing mortal sins in front of the Father. If he could turn around and close his eyes, perhaps. But unfortunately, my thought is, though, that we could walk out and then we can just go around to the backside and sneak back in. Quieter this time.
I shall form a bridge wherever you would like.
Okay, but quieter, with less talking.
That may be impossible for me, but I will think upon it.
And so the two of you do, three of you assumedly make your way back to the gate, with Lenny following a safe distance behind, unable to hear you, but he definitely is escorting you out. But as he does, the mist get a little harder to see. You can swear you still hear his footprints behind you, his footsteps.
The mist makes it harder to see, or the mist is harder to see?
The mist is making it harder to see.
Okay.
It's getting thicker. Oh, sure.
Pull them both closer to me on either side. Good friends now. We stand close together.
And the moonlight is just so bright above that it almost provides this beacon leading you somewhere in the cemetery. And eventually the footsteps behind you fade away. The light from Lenny's lantern has disappeared into the fog itself. You don't hear Lenny behind you. You don't see the gate in front of you. All around you is just fog.
Faster now, gentlemen. Clutching onto either one of them on each side and limping. Obviously, I need to hold on to you for stability because I have twisted my ankle.
You're walking along, and did it really take this long to get in from the gate? No, that can't be the case. You walk.
What a stop. Stop. And listen really hard. Do you hear anything?
You do.
I hear something.
You all hear a voice whispering in your ear. What would you trade for what you most desire?
Father, that's a weird question to ask me in a cemetery. Was that you, Father?
I thought that was you, my son.
It didn't sound like Alice. Did you hear a voice? Did you hear that voice? What would you trade? Alice, did you hear that as well?
That's straight. What? There's no trading. We just need to get out of this cemetery. No trades. No trade. Actually, no. They can stay, and I will go.
And this voice echoes in your ears again. This raspy, almost inhuman voice.
Walter.
Would you give everything for what you most desire?
Walter, is that you?
And as you look around, Alice, looking for the source of the voice of Walter, Professor Loxton and Father Miller aren't there anymore.
What? The fuck they aren't.
You whirl around looking for either of them, and there's no one there.
Oh no. I knew this was going to happen. The two people were going to get lost in the fog, and not me, because I wouldn't get lost in the fog. It's not me, it's taken them. It's okay, Alice, it's fine. They're here. Professor, Father, Professor Walter, Lenny, and I just start shouting out for Don, Petris, Mr. Petris, I've crashed into your car again. Please come find me.
Alice, why don't you give me a power roll?
Hard success. 14 under 55.
Fantastic. I'm going to come back to that in a moment here. As Father Miller and Professor Loxton, you're walking around, and much like I just described for Alice, you find yourselves alone. And you hear a voice that just echoes again. Would you give yourself? Would you give others. And Father Miller, what do you say to this strange voice?
I have everything I currently need, thank you. My child, whoever you are, God provides.
You could have more. You could have so much more.
That's rather against the vows I took, but thank you.
Why don't you give me a power roll there, Father Miller?
Yeah, this is going to go great. With my POW of 40. I failed.
Okay. And last but not least, there, Professor Loxton. What would you give? You could have knowledge. You could have power. What would you trade?
I make no deals with fae or devils or whatever. I have an occult of 65, you fiend. I know how this ends.
My machinations are beyond your understanding, Professor.
Alice, don't make any... Alice! Father... The writer's gone as well. What have you done with... what was her name? Alice! Leave us be, ghost.
And why don't you give me a power roll?
Let's see what we've got. Extreme success.
Extreme success. Fantastic. So I'm gonna stick with
you
you for
you, ghost.
I'm gonna stick with you for a moment there, Professor. You, in these swirling mists, start to see things. Visions, distant, faraway lands, ancient civilizations, civilizations that don't even look as though they're humanly possible. And it fills you with this feeling that you could have this. If only you just trade for it.
Okay, wait a second, Father. I'm seeing something really interesting here. This would be quite revolutionary. Oh.
And in these mists, you see the pillars and temples, the pyramids. And as this is shown to you with an extreme success, you can see a face. A withered face. And a hand reaches out toward you. And then everything goes black. Why don't you give me a sanity roll there?
Oh no, I failed it. 76 over 65.
So you're only going to lose one sand because the dice apparently love you.
That's
but you're
bummer,
going to wake up.
I'll take it.
As this hand covers your vision. Well, we'll come back to where you wake up in a minute here. Let's go down the line of the successes, then to the failures. Alice, you begin to see the mists moving with intent around you, as if they're not mists at all. It takes on almost a corporeal feeling as a hand seems to reach out and touch your shoulder. Say, you could have everything. Everything you could ever want. If only you give it up.
Unhand me, Fog.
You can feel the hand release from your shoulder. And everything starts to get a little darker. But you're also going to lose some sand. So why don't you give me a sanity roll? We'll have an adjusted scale according. Hard success.
Hard success.
You're only going to lose 2 sand. Or let's roll. Let's do 1d2 for that. 2 points. Nothing super crazy there. But you also wake up in a strange place. Father Miller. Oh, Father. Father, Father, Father. You hear the voice as well. But it's not asking you to trade anything. This raspy voice echoes in your ear, and you hear it say one word over and over again. Submit. And you feel a hand slowly grasping you by the throat. Submit to me. Submit.
This better not awaken anything in me.
Father, I'm going to have you roll me some sanity.
Mm-hmm. I succeeded.
So you're still going to lose 2 points.
Okay.
And for a brief minute, for the three of you, everything goes black. As this voice that's reached out has said something to you. And when you open your eyes, you find yourselves in your room at the boarding house with no recollection of how you got there. Shall we take our halfway break? Let's check in on what Don was doing in the meantime as the other three were investigating that cemetery. So Don, well, you notice that your I use the term compatriots lightly there, but the individuals you shouted at from the boarding house window were all heading toward the cemetery.
Box.
What are you doing in the meantime?
Well, I've noticed that all of the activity has suddenly died down and there's just no one around anymore. And I've got a wee thought, which is that I know where the package is and I've not paid for it yet. So there's very little to stop me from just going to get the package.
True.
So I'm thinking I'm going to house.
Sure. So are you heading out the front door or are you climbing down a drain pipe?
Oh no, I'm going to head out the front door. I'm very much like bold as brass, just sort of walking out, whistling.
Front door, and
Yeah.
you notice that in walking out, the air's a little thicker than you remember it being. It's a little more humid, cold. It's pretty
Maine weather.
It's comfortable. It's Maine weather. And you know that the doctor's office is fairly nearby. You saw the sign as you were walking about town a bit earlier.
Yeah. It's meant to be abandoned, they were saying. So I was thinking, just have a walk around it, nonchalant, not like taking the stealthy approach in terms of just don't really look at it, don't pay attention to it, look like you're just on an evening walk, but case the joint.
You're giving it that little like, ooh, oh, me? Oh, not me, no.
Yeah, one of those, just like.
So, yeah, you see a building nearby. The grass is a little longer than it should be. The building is dark on the inside, and you can see a sign swinging of a little caduceus. I guess this is probably the doctor's office.
Okay. Gonna look round, see if there's any obvious back door, any way in that might not be pulled as brown. But if I don't see anything, I'm simply going to go and see if I can slip through the front door.
Jordan, why don't you give me a luck roll for a back door? That's a sentence. Yeah, there doesn't appear
Spent
to be
that one luck earlier to get my
spent that
which
one
got my
luck earlier
from 74, and that was a 75 over 74.
The dice are cruel today for you.
They
Just
are.
rubbing that one luck in your face. But yes, Nate, I did say that. But you're walking around, you can see in the back. Maybe it's because the fog's a little hard to see through, but you kind of trying to feel around for a back. There's even just walking around. Doesn't appear to be But you do
So-
manage to get to the front. And you press the handle. The door creaks open.
I step quietly inside.
It is dark inside. Can't really see much of anything.
That doesn't immediately worry me. Are the windows covered?
yeah.
Is that why it's so dark?
Yeah, the shades are drawn. It's dark out. The shades aren't letting much light in anyways, but overall it doesn't really seem like it's nothing's out of the ordinary. I mean, you've gone to an abandoned building at night and it's dark. Surprise.
Yeah, I'm gonna give myself just a second to let my eyes adjust as I move through the darkness. But if I can, like, just knock the shades slightly to let a bit more of the moonlight in, that's ideal. I know that won't give me much, but it should give me enough to not literally slam into anything.
It does give you just enough as you get the dim outline of what looks like a few chairs, a large wooden desk covered in papers. There's no sign of a package.
Yeah, Keeper, have I got any understanding of what size of package I'm looking for?
It's a decent size. Well, what were you picking up? I guess we should say, what is Don getting from his contact?
I'm kind of tempted to do one of those briefcase moments, but
You're looking for a briefcase that
I'm looking for a
has
briefcase.
something in there.
Something esoteric, something
very much.
odd, something that I think could sell for a lot of money, but that my client thinks is worthless. And it's specifically from the Carpathian Basin. So
I see. You're looking for this briefcase, and you see some stacks of papers here and there that almost look like they were just left. Wherever this doctor is, they're not here. But the papers themselves, they push aside. You can eventually give me we'll skip the roll in this one. You do manage to find eventually a small leather black briefcase.
can I do the super classic flick it open the black briefcase,
yeah.
look inside, but the audience can't see what's inside? And then I close
There's
it
a
up.
glowing light illuminating your
Yeah,
face as you open
exactly.
this up.
Yeah. Okay. Before I leave, I'm sort of intrigued, and specifically, what I'm looking to do is I want to have knowledge that I shouldn't have that's going to make Alice very confused. So I'm just looking around to see if I can maybe get an understanding of what's going on in this place with this doctor. So maybe I'm going to read through the notes. Maybe I'm just going to do a little bit of a deep dive, trying to figure out if there is a story here that's worth knowing.
So you look through the papers, and maybe it's the moonlight spilling in. You can just start to make out a few things. As you're actively looking through them, a strange trend emerges in the papers. The doctor was looking for something. What he was looking for, I mean, you see a few medical textbooks here and there, but look, it says that people in this town look older than they should be.
Okay.
You do find a small medical file for a Ryan Garvin. You've met Ryan. It says that he's 35 years old, but physically has the physicality of somebody in their late 50s.
Ryan is the guy who runs the
boarding house. Correct.
boarding house.
Yeah. You see a note that his hands are veinous and wrinkled, as if he's much older than he is. But then there's a note across the bottom that says no medical explanation and a hard underline.
Okay, well, I've got my briefcase, so I'm going to make like a leaf.
Sure.
And just head on out of this place and just quietly make my way back into the. No, I'm going to head to my car. I'm going to slip the briefcase into the trunk. And then I'm going to head back to the boarding house, so no one is hopefully will have seen me with this briefcase at any point in time.
Well, you're
Very tempted to just leave town, but that would just be too game breaking. So let's not do that.
It's cute. You think you could leave town, but you're certain nobody saw you because this mist is really getting thicker. You can't see your hand in front of your face as you make your way to putting this briefcase in the boot of your car. And as you close it shut, even the buildings directly across the street become obscured. And it's
Okay.
Say you're starting
Can I
to make your way
navigate
back to
back
the
all
boarding
right?
house. You can certainly try. You think you're going the right way. You took a left here, took a right there. But suddenly all you see is the mist. And then Don, you hear a voice. And this voice says, "You seem to be seeking things. What would you trade for more?"
What do you got?
"I can give you so much if
What
you
is that?
give yourself over to me."
Is that weird professor from earlier again? Who's speaking? Who's talking?
The voice says, "My name would be incomprehensible in your tongue, but he calls me the Dreamer. The Dreamer of
Dreamer.
Death."
Is this sand roll worthy? This is weird.
It's going to be
fuck.
give me a sand roll. Give me a sand roll, yeah. As you're conversing with a disembodied voice that claims you can't understand its name.
No, I'm chill with it, Doc. No, I'm good. No.
You seem pretty chill about this. Okay, let's do.
I did a lot of drugs in college.
So you're still going to lose 2 sand as this voice echoes, "If you would come to me, I could trade you everything. Power, money. I could grant you a title even. But you must give yourself in your entirety to me."
That's out of context, a little odd. Not gonna lie. What? Where are we?
You are in the presence of one who knows more than you ever will. You may take your briefcase and you may find things, but seek me and I shall give you more than you could ever desire. And the voice
Seek.
falls silent
A dream.
as the mists get thicker and thicker. Why don't you give me that power roll, Don? Dang, okay.
Hey, quick one. I've just noticed an error in my sheet. I have 60 power, but 65 sanity. I'm going to reduce my sanity down a little to reflect that. It would have had no impact on any rolls so far.
The person who is transcribing your sheet will have to be... They'll be sacked.
It is the fault of the keeper for giving the current sound of 65.
I did not
It's fault of
transcribe
the
these
writer.
sheets.
I apologize.
Well, either way, so you managed to succeed, but the mists get thicker and thicker as they are wont to do on the Twitch stream right now. And you find yourself awaking in your bed in the boarding house.
It was a dream. Of course, it was a dream. Oh, well, that. Oh, okay. Oh, I wonder what's for breakfast. I head down for breakfast.
You head down for breakfast, and the other three of you, are you also heading down getting some breakfast? It is the next day.
That was quite the dream. Yes. Oof. Did I have anything to drink last night? No? Don't think so. Sort of talking to myself, muttering as I'm going down the stairs a bit slower than normal.
Sure.
Just because my knees hurt.
You see Don sitting down there, getting a small spot of breakfast together. Father Miller looks different.
Window man.
I didn't really see the father yesterday, so I couldn't really process that.
This gentleman walks down with very, very dark circles under his eyes and a few wrinkles on his cheeks. But he walks down and appears to be looking for breakfast as well.
Morning.
Good morning. You were the man at the window last night, weren't you?
That I was.
Sorry for disturbing you. Also, apparently that wasn't part of the dream. All right.
You've been dreaming too. Weird place, all this fog.
Yes, the fog is a little bit more than I was expecting for this part of the country.
Yeah. And dreaming.
As they're having breakfast, what are Professor Loxton and Alice doing?
I suppose I would come downstairs as well. Now that I've woken up and maybe wash off my face for the morning and
Sure.
make my way downstairs.
So Father Miller looks different. He looks a little older.
Oh, Father Miller, you look like you didn't sleep well last night, or for many nights recently.
Strange dreams, that's all.
We were in the cemetery last night, right?
Maybe?
Because I remember
Thought I
being with
dreamed
you
that.
and that man that talks a lot there.
Ah, yes. Professor Loquacious. I think that was his name.
I feel like that fog was hitting on you. Because the
Just
way
a
it
little
said
bit,
things,
yes.
I felt like it was hitting on me.
Yes, it was very forward fog.
Yes. It kept to touch my shoulders.
I believed I dreamed that, but you say no.
Well, I don't think if I was there and you were there and we both had separate dreams, but we had the same dream, that's well, okay, I'm
Hold
not going
on.
to say that's impossible because I have written a story about that before. Oh, Mr. Petris.
Hold on. Are you saying that you all had dreams about fog and was there a voice?
Yes, there
Yes.
was a voice. And I'm starting to think it's not a dream, but some sort of weird time loss.
It called itself the Dreamer.
It did not have a name when I dreamt it or didn't dream it.
And it was hitting on you?
Yes, it put its arm on my shoulder and it was asking what I wanted and it's telling me that it could give me everything that I want. And
Oh, right.
was
Yeah, no, it did that
very-
to me too. I just didn't interpret that as flirtation. That is a slightly odd way of putting that, but I can see where you might have gotten that from. Alice,
I've
don't
been
you
hit on by
worry.
many men and I've never misinterpreted anyone's intentions before.
Alice, don't you worry. And I put my hand on Alice's shoulder. You stick with me, and I will have to explain all of these things to you, and I will help you get where you want to be.
Alice's eyes get really big and she kind of looks down. Well, oh, well, you're such a strong man, Mr. Petris. Yes, we'll stick together for sure.
All right, because I've been doing some research on
Oh,
this country and things, and thought maybe we could co-write one of those stories of yours. Got some interesting insights, some intel, some insider knowledge.
insider knowledge. Yes. Oh, I think that I would like that very much. Yes, to write a story with you. We tried to go see that ghost last night, but the gentleman Lenny kicked us out.
I think maybe we did find that ghost, though.
Maybe he didn't. I think I asked if it was Walter, but he wouldn't say. It could have been Walter. It could be who everyone's talking to, and they think they're talking to the ghost.
As the two of you are discussing, so I flip the camera for a brief second to our dear friend, Professor Loxton, the verbose gentleman. What are you doing up in your room as the others are having breakfast and discussing their shared dream?
Do I awaken in my bed fully
You do.
clothed? Or do I
You are-
awaken in my normal sleeping attire?
You awaken in the clothes you were wearing the day prior.
Shoes as well?
Shoes are actually carefully placed at the foot of your bed.
I'm going to take a quick look at them and see if they are caked with cemetery dirt.
Oh, they are. There is fresh dirt in those shoes. And in
I look
fact,
down at my
Professor,
hand.
go
ahead,
ahead, sorry. Yeah. After you.
Look down at my hands, see if they show the telltale marks of a small bridge.
Your hands do have the telltale marks of a small bridge, yes.
I'll put on my clothes. I'll go downstairs wondering if perhaps that young woman that we encountered was also a ghost of this town. But then I'll hear these voices and I'll stop
Before you
to
head
listen
down-
for a second. Oh, before I head down, something
Before
happened.
you head down, actually, I'm going to be nicer and say, give me a spot hidden roll. Because you did say you were looking around a little bit at your shoes and related things like that. But yeah,
But I'm a
appears to
little
be
bit distracted this
dirt.
morning.
There appears to be a smudge of dirt near the window, but maybe it's just from your shoes flinging dirt as you go to put them on.
I will wander towards the window and lift it, get a little fresh air in here, maybe see what my room looks out onto.
Your room looks out right at the cemetery.
Oh, good.
And there's a small trellis up the side of the building where your room is.
Does it look climbable?
Oh, definitely looks climbable. You wouldn't even need a small ladder to climb it. A small bridge, sir.
Curious. I'll get ready, avoiding,
Sure.
of course, as usual, the mirror, because my appearance of 30 has me avoiding all mirrors. I don't want to be reminded of my hideous demeanor at any point, Keeper. And then I will head down.
It's okay.
and
That's why you wear a hat.
hat and pull a mask up. If I hear the talking at the breakfast, at the communal breakfast table, I'll stop and take a listen for a moment.
Sure. Doesn't sound like
It's
being
just
too...
it's 5 minutes
discreet.
straight of the three of us making fun of Professor Loxton.
I see.
And let's start
Alice
that
getting
scene.
in,
Yeah.
Alice getting in particularly pointed jabs about everything from his appearance to his shoddy elbow patches.
Mm-hmm.
It's as if I've run across my students, my my undergrads and my grads and my TAs. Oh, and also
And your
yes,
tender
my
committee.
colleagues. I'll walk in.
But
You know, ladies and gentlemen, there are theories in many cultures that when we dream, we return to the sea and we are tethered, as it were, to this world, but we all return to a communal place in this shared dream theory. And I'll sit down and I'll pull a grapefruit and cut it and just start eating it straight up. No sugar, just raw. And this shared dreaming that certain cultures and histories have reported, it's a desired effect of our shared unconsciousness and our unconscious state. For I too shared this same dream with you, Alice, and with you, Father. And Father, what the hell? You look terrible. What's happened to you?
You're
I
the one
was
to talk.
I could actually maybe just step in here and give you a little bit more information, Alice. Alice, it seems the folks in this town, they're getting older. They're getting older faster than they should, which leads me to the conclusion that we should probably not spend a lot more time in this town. You should follow my lead.
Well, yeah,
So-
yes, it's already afflicting the father here, possibly.
So what I'm suggesting here is that we settle whatever matters we need to settle, we settle whatever we need to settle, and then we get the hell out of Dodge.
I would be quite agreeable to that.
Do we have a headline about people getting old really fast?
Ooh, do we have a headline about people getting old really fast? Well, we
Something
possibly
about
could.
driving and breaking the
Yeah.
speed limit and doing
Ooh,
17 or
too
20
fast.
zone, maybe?
Something like that. I think would be good. Yes. Yes.
Well-
I can't drive. 55 years of age because I'm older than I was never good with titles. I have someone else do that for me. I have a
We'll workshop it.
an
We'll
assistant.
workshop
Yeah, we'll
it.
workshop it. Yes. I'll give a think but to it, but yes. But that is most strange. That is honestly if we can get both of them into the same edition of the paper that when we have our he wasn't a ghost when I married him, and now we also have this other one, help, I'm 35 but I look like I'm 55, which honestly I feel like I could do a talk show and these could both be just words on the bottom of the talk show that people come on and I talk to them and people watch me talk to them. But
Talk show, you said talk. When you say talk show, well, this is intriguing to me. I feel like I might have something to offer.
So
What-
it's
what is-
like
what
a
is
play.
talking
See, I
show?
get up on stage and I have people come out and there's usually a theme to the show, but we just talk and then people in the audience, they can also talk, but it's yes. And so we could get together a bunch of people that have all married ghosts, but maybe some of them were ghosts when they were married and some of them weren't.
As you're
Oh,
having this
sounds
conversation,
Fascinating.
Ryan, the boarding house owner, walks up to top off some coffees, etc. He goes, "Oh, you're talking about people can't drive? I heard there was an accident yesterday. Somebody out by the train station crashed." And you notice when he holds out his hand to pour the coffee, it is deeply aged. We're talking Dumbledore in that one Harry Potter movie level old hand.
But just the hand.
Just his hand.
That's weird.
It
How
is.
does
Father,
Sir, what does your
Father.
other hand look like?
He holds up his other hand. It just looks like a normal hand. In fact, it's so weird. Perhaps we could have a sand roll for it.
I do often find myself rolling sanity after looking at a man's hands.
I know exactly what's going on and do not find it even remotely weird.
Lack
An
of
extreme
moisturizing.
success.
Yeah, this is a
And everybody passed their
moisturization
sand
issue.
rolls.
This is not the
Mhm.
weirdest thing after last night, so
Yeah, you're all fine with it. He just has a weird old withered hand. It's his strong
Father,
hand.
how is your hand doing? Or just asking out of idle curiosity, how are your hands, Father Miller?
little achy this morning, perhaps some early arthritis, prone in my family to it. But
You should leave. I need to go and talk to contact over at the diner. But then anyone who is interested is welcome to get in my car and follow me the hell out of here.
And Father, you can ride with me.
Yes, an excellent idea.
There's a story. There's something going on here. I don't think I can leave so abruptly. I feel like we need to understand more.
This was an offer for the future. I was just setting the precedent that that if we're splitting up and riding in 2 cars, that the father can ride with me. I was
Do
just
you
setting
have a third seat, Alice, in your vehicle?
No. I have many womanly belongings all over my vehicle.
Perhaps room upon the bumper that I can just perch like a bird.
I would find that most enjoyable, yes. But until then, perhaps yes. Don needs to talk to a contact, perhaps about this aging thing. We need to find that ghost again, and interrogate him, interview him. We can talk to Maddie. You know, Maddie might be at that at the diner as well, and she said that she would give us more information about the ghost today. And also, I'm interested to see what she looks like as well.
And I think the father needs another coffee.
Ryan, please, another coffee, sir, if you would. Oh, Alice, I have a catchy name for your article. Chronological anomalies in cellular decline, investigating the molecular pathways, environmental catalysts contributing to premature aging in human populations.
I will take that under careful consideration.
I grant you full access to that title, though. I won't be using it myself.
Sure.
I was thinking, help, I can't stop getting older. But fast.
Actually, that one's quite good. I like that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we're heading to the diner?
It appeals to the human condition.
I went to sleep 35 and woke up 45. Maybe.
Beautiful. It sounds like you're heading to the diner.
Yes, this conversation happens on the way.
As we completely devolve into a journalistic career for the players.
Mm-hmm.
At the diner, it's a little slower. There's a few people sitting there getting their morning breakfast, some eggs, hash browns. You see Maddie going from table to table, checking on things. And you see a well-dressed gentleman that seems to be holding court almost in one corner of the diner. And another well-dressed gentleman, the same one that you noticed yesterday there, Don, sitting there clutching his leather package, eyes flitting about. But the man holding court turns to the 4 of you walking in and says, "Oh, welcome. I don't believe I made your acquaintance yesterday. Tom Steenwick." And he extends a hand to all of you.
Don's hands just envelops his. Don's quite a large man, so when his hands are huge, they just sort of envelop this guy's hands, and he shakes with a slightly crushing grip.
Oh, quite the grip you've got there.
It's a pleasure, absolute pleasure.
With a handshake like that, I'll be out of job.
You're the mayor of this town?
I am the mayor of this town, yes.
Fascinating little place. Love it. Slept here last night. Absolutely loved it. Really nice, recuperating place.
I'm glad you like it. It's a labor of love to keep these people in line. And he chuckles a bit. And you see a few of the patrons kind of just smile at him. He seems well loved.
As mentioned, Don is a very, very large man, so he kind of lounges back into one of the free sofas and just orders another round of breakfast.
And what are the rest of you doing as Don is getting himself another meal?
I wanted to talk to Maddie because she's my parishioner former who sent the letter. So
sure.
I have to
I'm
address her
also
concerns.
Interested in discussing with Maddie, and I will do my best impression of what I assume is her husband to ask if that is her husband or not her husband.
And what about you, Professor Loxton?
Is that a library and a diner?
Appears to be a small bookshelf.
Occurrence. I'll investigate that, but then I'll make my way slowly back over to eavesdrop and listen in on the mayor's conversation with his subjects.
All right. So let's start off with those waiting for Maddie. She kind of goes about and sees the two of you waiting for her, and proceeds to. She stops to get Don's order of a second breakfast before stopping.
Pile of pancakes, just like pile of, just how high can you make it? Just if they're not falling over, it's not high enough.
Sure. So you place an order for an inordinate amount of pancakes as Alice and Father Miller are chatting with Maddie, who slides into the table. She goes, I got a minute. I can talk to you. Now, did you see Walter last night?
Think we might have. Does he sound something like this? What would you trade for everything that you ever wanted? Is that what he sounds like?
No, Walter was always very soft-spoken. He never raised his voice or anything. He just worked out at the paper mill. I don't remember him being too aggressive offering to trade things.
Well, I was concerned because I felt like he was hitting on me, and I thought, you're a married man, but if it wasn't your husband, it sounds like, then that was a different ghost, and we didn't see Walter at all then.
Different ghost? There's more than one?
Well, there might be. Lenny says there's 0 ghosts, but and you say there's Walter, and then this gentleman ghost that enveloped us in terrifying fog, and then spoke to us and offered us things and tried to put his hands upon me, and then I woke up in bed.
Walter would never do something like that.
That's as I thought. It's because he is a married man. So, no, we did not find Walter.
Well, I'm sure he's out there. But whatever happened, are you sure you're feeling okay? Did you have dinner last night?
Well, now that you mention it, I don't think that I did. Also, I want to look at Maddie.
There's your
see
problem.
if she looks older or not.
She does look a little bit older, yeah.
Weird.
There are a few new creases on her cheeks.
Why did you ask me to come, my child? It's been some time.
Well, after Walter left us, that is. I've been trying to read some books out of the library, and they said to contact your spiritual guide, or your spiritual advisor, and that's been you, Father. You were always very helpful in the past when I needed things, but if now what Alice hears, if what she's saying is true, and Walter's laying his hands on people in the afterlife, I don't know what to do.
I'm certain Walter is in heaven, my child, and that it is something else, something darker at work in this cemetery. You put your mind at rest. Walter is not walking about haunting and flirting with young ladies. He was a good, godly man.
So I was just talking to Father Byrne out at the church, and he mentioned that somebody went around and started stealing some things.
Well, demonic spirits and other things of that nature are not generally known for petty larceny, but perhaps I'll go have a word with my counterpart, and we'll see what's going on in this town. I suspect it's some sort of demonic activity.
The demon, I don't know why it would steal a priest's robes.
A wolf in sheep's clothing.
Oh, that's very wise, Father. It's very wise. Can I get you anything? Your associate over there ordered more pancakes than I think we can make with our monthly ration of flour, but I'm going to try.
Interesting. I'll just have coffee.
It is the 1920s.
Mm-hmm. I'll just have coffee, thank you.
All right, well. Anything for you there, Alice?
Oh, I suppose I should. I'll have coffee as well.
All right. So let's see, we got the pancakes for that gentleman. Charles, what did he order? Gonna have to ask him. The mayor wanted some eggs, and she had wanders away, just like muttering. She doesn't have a pad to write things down, so she's kind of just trying to remember them.
We don't know who Charles is.
You do not know who Charles is. That is correct. But Professor Loxton, you were checking out the library. Why don't you give me a spot hidden roll? You see the same note as before about the books signed out. Nothing new has left. I'll take either a spot hidden or a library use roll. You said you're deep diving through the books.
Sort of interested if maybe any of them are occult in nature. I will do library use 70. Pretty
Go
good
for
in the library. 66 under 70.
You find mostly just strange little books. You can see in the list there books like Ghosts Among Us, checked out by Ryan, Faith and Loss from Maddie. Just a few pulp detective novels. But there's one that stands out, and it looks like it could be a reprinting of something. And I'm not sure I get the pronunciation correct. I'm probably going to butcher it, but you see a book, De Vermis Mysteris. It looks like it's a rebinding of sorts. The book itself is fairly old, not very well put together, but it looks almost shoved unceremoniously among the books themselves. Like it doesn't look cataloged.
Well, I have really good occult and really good Latin. I will immediately grab that and page through it, and also look to see if there's any record of anyone signing this out. If it's just this one sheet, then obviously it's not there. But if I can see maybe if anyone else has looked through this terrible, terrible work.
The book does look very well used, but there's no record of it on any sign out sheets, anything like that.
I don't think it was there yesterday because I'd have noticed when I looked through this stuff.
It was not there yesterday when you looked through.
I'm going to grab it and I'm going to take it back to Don's table and then try to get his attention around the stack of pancakes if he can see me. Can you see me?
Yeah. Hey,
Back on the pancake train.
Is that a first edition?
Well, I don't know if it's first, but are you familiar with this work? This is a fairly dangerous and notorious work of well, I would have to say a cult.
Yeah, it's worth a pretty penny.
Well, not only that, but some would say it's dangerous.
And,
Professor,
I mean, I guess.
You notice as you thumb through it, some pages were missing.
John, I notice as I'm thumbing through this, that some pages are missing.
Well, that's really going to lower the value. You think you can just go sign it out, Professor? Maybe we'll take it back and have a look through it.
I wonder if, via context clues, if I might have any understanding of what might be removed from the book. I asked the universe in general.
You can give me an occult roll to try to parse through it a bit.
Oh, thank goodness.
I know, I'm so generous. Oh, hard success.
Hard success. I would happily make it an extreme keeper.
Oh, please do.
So you made that before I thought the math through. Let me see. All right. Yep. Good. Got it.
So you are thumbing through this and very focused on all of the text and the images and the things and the rituals, the spells. As you're reading this, it starts to just, your head starts to spin. But you find that pages missing seem almost like they're used to commune with a deity. Sort of a worship, a ritual to worship or something. The more you read it, the more this book just starts to entrance you a little bit. You can hear chanting, you can see sigils swirling in your head. So as you're literally reading this fated grimoire, could you give me a sand roll?
Absolutely. I'll reach over and grab a pancake at some point off the top of the stack, just start eating it with my hands as I keep reading through this. And I have a 3 under 64. Thank you, roll 20.
Roll 20 really likes you, but you're still going to lose a little bit of sand because you are reading deep. You're going to lose 3 there because you are reading a faded occult tome quite intently at that with that extreme success. So you feel a little strange, but overall, nothing crazy. Everything seems to be in order. Minus these deity spells and contacting deities, worshiping deities.
This is fascinating, Don. A lot of what it seems to be missing is the attempt to communicate with a specific... God, I wish I could... I'm looking around for Father. Wish I could figure out which specific... Any clue on what specific deity, or is it unknowable at this point?
It is unknowable at this point. Because there's multiple pages. With your reading, it's multiple pages. Like you see a note on Sathagua and the calling part is missing. You see a note on Yig and part of it is missing. It's very, very indiscriminate with which parts were taken, as if it wasn't
even
one specific
worse,
deity.
Don, is whoever is maybe it's more than one, but whoever has taken a veritable smorgasbord of entities out of this, and I'm going to sink deeper into my study.
Oh, okay. I'll tell you what, give me a luck roll, and I may or may not give you something. Oh, poor,
I wish I could push a luck roll.
Poor Professor Loxton. I will say, as you're reading this more and more and more, and really, really parsing through it in depth, you start to lose yourself in this tome as Don is enjoying his pancakes and Father Miller and Alice are talking to Maddie about her totally faithful ghost husband in the afterlife. And you feel this pain forming in the back. It started initially as a little bit of a discomfort. But these images start to just draw you in and focus more and more. I'm sending you a little note there for you, but for that benefit, I am going to ask for another sand roll. Wow!
18 under 61.
Well, here's the fun part, because a deep study to the point of even beginning to conceptualize a spell does have quite a sanity penalty to it.
Are you saying I've just lost 9 sanity?
You have just lost 9 sanity.
Oh my!
Because I was nice and gave you something, and now you have to pay a penalty for it. So, correct me if I'm wrong, Dr. Loxton. That puts you well below a 5th.
I see 6, 12, 13, and I've just lost 13. So 20% of my 65 starting is 52, and I have just reached 52.
So, what would you like for your bout of match? Do you have one in mind that you might like, as you've just gained this newfound knowledge?
Keeper, I can't get that picture of that knowledge glimpsed last night. And I have to find that entity, deity, creature and make that deal, because now I have to have that knowledge.
Of course. Why would you not want
Last
that?
night it was an obvious no. This is an obvious yes. It's so close. And I think reading through this, I've realized how close I've been to something amazing, something great, something world changing. And now I will stop at nothing to find and make that bargain.
It sounds like somebody's gaining a mania. That's delightful. I like that mania. In fact, that's a good one for you to have. So, Don, you notice the professor just face down in this book, studying intently, and you hear him finally mutter, "Yes, I will find you, and I will collect what's mine."
If the professor at any point in time just say wanders off from the book, I am absolutely pocketing it.
So was it?
If the professor at any point in time sort of wanders off from the book to say try and track down or go anywhere, I'm just going to slip it over and I'll just put it inside the coat pocket.
Professor, are you letting that book out of your sight at all?
I think given my current state, no. But I think given my current state, I'm probably not as on the ball with physical worldly things anyway. So I would welcome maybe some opposed play here. I'm probably malleable. I'm in a bout. I like the idea. I don't think I would, because now I'm obsessed.
Mm-hmm.
But also
I think I'm waiting for the moment. I'm just letting the keeper know that if that moment comes, it's mine.
So yeah, we can say that. Why don't you give me a sleight of hand versus spot hidden to see if you can swipe that book away from Professor Loxton? Well, the way is open for you there, Don. Would you like to spend 4 points of luck and nick that book?
Yeah, I'm taking it.
All right.
You're not, because I stand up and I'm like, oh, my head's pounding, pulsing, and I walk the length of the diner up and down, my eyes swirling. Just, it's so close. And then I go out the door, I stand outside and giving you the perfect opportunity. Yes.
Yeah. I'll say the other two of you, as you see Professor Loxton just acting like a crazy person, which for Alice or for Father John, that might just be standard behavior for him. What you've seen, he's walking up and down this galley of the diner, muttering to himself, but Maddie turns to you both and says, well, if the ghost isn't Walter, then who's been talking to me?
I don't know. You said that's not what your husband sounds like, so maybe your husband is still talking to you, and this is some other interloper that is it could be another ghost if there's other ghosts here.
I should go speak to Father Byrne. There's something demonic afoot here.
All right. Well, I tell you what, you can probably go catch him now. He's going to be getting ready for service soon.
Maddie, would it be possible, I believe that we mentioned this, but for you to give us introduction to your husband, that ghost?
I don't like to go to the cemetery at night. It's scary.
Maybe that's why you've never talked to this ghost. Just, it was rather scary in the cemetery, and I wonder if that Mr. Lenny knows something, and that's why he's keeping us away, keeping people away. How did Lenny look age-wise?
Lenny looked standard middle-aged gentleman. Didn't seem too out of place.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of has that ageless, I work outside in the sun all day, and therefore I'm hard to tell.
Leathery skin.
Very leathery skin, yes.
Interesting. Well, Maddie, I wish that you could be of more help to me, but it doesn't seem that you'll make introduction to your husband. So I will let you know how this all shakes out, though. I hate to break it to you if your husband's flirting with other women in the cemetery as a ghost.
That'd be very unfortunate.
Can I try and get to Meg and ask
Meg
her about the
isn't-
package?
Meg doesn't appear to be in the kitchen today.
Right. That's
There's,
even
there's
better.
another individual working back there.
A nameless dog, if you will.
A nameless dog, if you will. Yes.
Doug.
Yes.
Doug's just a general name for everyone.
Yeah. Doug's working in
Right.
the back.
Well, excellent. In that case, I am going to follow Alice as she goes investigating because it seems fun.
All right.
Well, Mr. Petris, you said that you might have a lead on what's happening here.
I do. I think that something very wrong is happening here and that these people are getting older, and that's a problem. And we should probably wrap up whatever investigations our names do, Alice, and then we should get ourselves the heck out of Dodge.
We should see
The
if
Dodge
others
out of
have talked
Hedge.
to this ghost. I believe Lenny maybe made it sound like other people have talked to this ghost. Or someone did, but maybe we should talk to other people about to see if they've talked to the same ghost that keeps offering people things and touching them in the cemetery.
Really hung up on that shoulder touch. I was like, as the two of you are talking, you notice the well-dressed gentleman with the leather satchel once again stands up, throws down entirely too much money on the table, and he goes
I'm
to
going to follow
make his way
him.
past all of you.
Well,
And
look at
you
this
notice-
strange gentleman.
You notice for a moment, Professor Loxton, there's mud on his cuffs of his pants.
You, sir, you've been in the cemetery. Have you heard the voice?
I don't know what you're talking about.
You do. I see it. I see the proof upon your feet, just like they lie upon mine.
He sprints out of the diner.
I
The
give
ghost-
chase.
The ghost probably gave that man all that money that he's throwing about.
Ghosts have money?
It sounds like it if that's what he wished for and the ghost gave it to him.
Yeah, I'm not listening to Alice. I'm chasing this guy, but I'm doing it as stealthily and keeping a bit of distance.
Sir, I need your
doing it as
input for my
loudly and-
story. Sir, I
Least
need your-
stealthily as possible.
So many
All right,
questions.
in that case, I'm following Loxton.
So Loxton is barreling through. Alice is. Are
Also
you following him as
because
well?
I need to
Okay.
interview him for my story, The Fast Lane to a Short Life, to a Shortened Life.
There it is.
I got your driving in there.
And Father Miller is just going to go to the church nearby to talk to the priest. Or are you going to also follow this individual?
Father Miller has no interest in this strange man because everyone else seems to have it well in hand, and he's more interested in matters of spirituality, and there seems to be demons at work here, so off to the church we go.
Sure.
I do wonder
So
if we could do
let's-
an experiment or something. I will tell
So
the
the
Don about this later, but I think we could do an experiment where one of us agrees to whatever the ghost is offering and then just sees what happens.
Well, you all take after this gentleman, and rather than give a chase scene,
Come on,
Because
run
I-
a chase, Matt. Run a chase.
I'm not running a
Yeah.
chase.
Let's
go.
Not running a chase.
Let's go, man.
Like a 3-player, 1 NPC chase.
Here. It's on page.
What page, Nate?
Oh, that's
so-
where the bit ended.
He runs out the door and stops for a minute, and then you see him booking it toward the train station.
Sir, it's not here for another week, and I must ask you if you've talked to this voice, if you've heard this voice, I must find it. I must talk again to it.
And he's running as fast as he can to this train station, and the door just slams behind him.
I clomp after him.
I follow pursuit as well. Slower,
Don?
apparently. I thought I could speed past Loxton, but I can't.
Well, Loxton is full sprint.
Well, he's also more dexterous than me.
So Don, are you also how are you following this melee to the train station?
Where possible, stealthily. I'm trying to not be particularly obvious as I do it. So my move is... Where is move on this? Where is move on this sheet?
The bottom right.
Under combat.
Oh, it's under combat, I see.
That's where it should be. Movement is under combat.
Under combat. Yeah.
But yeah, I say, as Professor Loxton is shouting after this man, your stealth, I'm not going to require a roll because he is the equivalent of just banging pots and pans chasing after this man. He has drawn all attention of the townsfolk. And the gentleman is... You can just see him running into the train station as Professor Loxton, wait, please! I have questions! And...
I also have movement of 8, so I'm keeping up with the professor as he runs.
Okay. So I'll say he's giving you enough cover to follow stealthily behind, but the professor, you walk into the train station screaming and shouting, saying, don't go, I have questions for you.
Change falling from my pockets, 10,000 ball bearings falling to the ground. Yes, it's an amazing racket.
Your history professor has a pocket full of ball bearings. Sure. You make your way into the train station and you see the man pounding at the gate. Please, there's got to be a train out of here. I need to get the hell out of this town.
Sir, please calm yourself. I just have questions.
And I have a vehicle.
He turns to both. He goes, did Carmine send you?
No, I don't know anyone named Carmine.
He stopped. He's like his breathing slowly starts to slow down. But Carmine's not here.
Who's Carmine? Is that the ghost name?
The ghost? They think I'm the ghost.
They think you're the ghost. Who are you?
I poke him.
The name's Charles.
Charles
Gregg.
2 first names. Interesting.
Careful, Eros. He's got 2 first names.
Yes, I noticed that. Wait, what did call me? Charles Gregg, 2 first names.
Look,
why do people think that you're the ghost? And why do you have all this money? Did the ghost give that to you?
How old are you? Any ghost. How old am I?
Yes.
26.
Does he look 26?
He looks 26.
Okay.
People keep saying that I'm the ghost because I showed up and things started getting weird around here, man.
Why did you show up here? This is a shithole of a town. And you're 26. You should be living life large in someplace like New York City.
Oh, yeah, big city, yeah. Where do you think I came from?
New York City, I would assume by your shoes and by all the cash you're throwing around.
You seem like a smart guy.
I'm very smart.
Why would a guy who has a lot of money from the city be living in a shithole town like this?
And Carmine's after you thought Carmine said he's on the run. He's running from someone.
Yeah.
A gangster of some sort, probably.
Oh, are you a criminal? Are you a criminal, sir? Or are you a professor of history? Both of those things give reason to run from people.
Look, man, if you're not from Carmine, look, what'll it take for me? You never saw me, okay?
Well, that's fine. We're fine with that.
Some weird shit's going on in this town, man.
I won't be able to give you credit in my article that I'm writing about the ghost then.
Mr. Gregg, have you heard the voice in the cemetery?
Have you talked to the ghost?
Have you made a deal?
No, man. I made enough deals in my life.
Mr. Gregg, are you lying to me?
Give me a
I wonder as I make a psychology roll.
He seems to be honest.
10 points of luck.
Is it
Could
worth
I
10 points of luck to you?
spend? Sure, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, why not? It's a one shot, right?
It's a one shot, and I'm already
Nobody's gonna die.
definitely insane. I'm going to spend 10 points of luck to determine via psychology if the man with two names is honest.
He's being honest with you. You can see in his eyes the franticness that he's almost too afraid to lie to you. He goes, look, if you want to know about the ghost, and he reaches a trembling hand into his pocket and pulls out a sheet of paper. And if we could please
snatch
have
it out of his
handout
hand.
number 3.
And I start reading it aloud.
But well, before you get to read it aloud, the question is, how much of it are you going to read aloud? Because it's in Discord now. It's a bit long.
Ooh, read that last part over and over and over again. I'd prefer.
I'm not reading this aloud. Never mind. I'm not reading this aloud. Where did you get this nonsense, sir?
Wait, is this first part Latin?
The first part is Latin.
I'm very good at Latin.
You are very good at Latin.
Conversational, even. Let me see. Where's my Latin skill? It's over 50.
All the way on the right, yeah.
It was above 50. You're considered proficient.
Dang, it's 46. If I scan this, can I get a sense of what it means and then relay that to Alice?
The top part is definitely part of the Latin Mass.
This is some church language. I wonder if the father would have any interest.
He tells us if we have questions, what's this? We can't ask this. What is this? There's no questions here to ask. There's no person. This isn't someone's address that we can go talk to them.
Where did you find this, Charles Gregg?
I found it. Somebody shoved it in the bookshelf. You know, the bookshelf in the diner?
The library at the diner?
Yeah, somebody had this paper there, and I took it to the priest, and he yelled at me for defacing church property.
Does this bottom part, did you write this? This is in handwriting. Is this your handwriting?
Every time I read it, it just makes my head hurt. You want it? Take it. He shoves the paper at you.
I'll take it. Last question from me, Charles, and then if Alice has any further questions, I'm sure she'll... Why are you so damn scared? You're 26 years old, prime of your life. What is scaring you such?
He'll turn to Alice and say, this professor guy ain't too bright, is he?
No, he doesn't understand. It's the men are trying to kill him. Men from the city, probably sent by this Carmine person, are trying to kill him, and he's hiding out here in this small, I believe you called it a shithole.
Yeah, exactly. And I'll say, Don, you hear this as you're following stealthily behind. You hear the two of them just interrogating this poor young man.
Yeah, I'm going to basically set myself when they let him go. I see where he goes. Once no one's looking at him, I want to know where.
Okay. So we'll make a note that you're following him.
And can we take a quick 2-minute break?
Yeah, 2-minute break is fine. All right, we are back after a brief intermission. We are going to be operating in a fatherless configuration going forward. Rina was not feeling well, so to them for playing along with us and powering through as much as they did. They are fantastic. We are indebted to them for coming out for this. And we will find a way to give the father a conclusion of sorts if we can.
I was going to say, it's actually really important. We should model this. It's really important. If someone's not feeling well, they should feel free to drop and step out of a stream. Streams are not the end of the be all and end all. I've had to do it before. Rina's done it. It's a good and healthy thing to do if you need to.
Mm-hmm. We always have an open table. Always have an open table for a reason. No questions asked, no judgments passed.
Now, can I follow this guy?
You can totally follow this guy. So let's see what Alice and Professor Loxton are doing. So you've been given a sheet of paper and a funny language from this gentleman. And he kind of darts around saying, you got a car out of here?
Yes, I do have a vehicle. You may have seen me ram it into some gentleman's rear end the other day, but that's neither here nor there. I'm sure I'll safely get us out of here. But once my investigation has wrapped up, then you're welcome if you want to leave. I would guess tonight or tomorrow or sometime sooner than the train comes.
Yeah, let's meet up a little bit later. I gotta grab some stuff out of the boarding house.
Okay. Yes, you head there, and we will meet up. I'm staying there as well.
Fantastic. If you're gonna stay there, and he starts to walk towards the boarding house, and you notice, Don, he's not going to the boarding house. He's going to the doctor's office.
Sweet. Let's see where we go.
So you're following him a bit, and Alice and Professor Loxton. For now, I'm assuming you're just going to stay at the train station. Ish.
No.
Okay.
No.
Where would the two of you be heading?
Station.
Alice,
Where would the two of you be heading? Is he's totally heading back to the boarding house?
That scared young man mentioned his father has seen this thing. I feel like I want to ask whatever this father is, this church person, about this language at the bottom.
The other
Yeah,
father.
not our father.
I was
my
wondering...
best friend father, the father in the shithole town.
Yes, because see, this language you said was Latin, but this one at the bottom looks different. So I agree. We should go ask other father.
In this drawing, do you see this drawing, this upside down cross? I feel like the upside down cross means something.
Would you like to give me an occult roll for the upside down cross?
Maybe just turn it upside down. I would love
I'm
to
gonna
give
turn
you
it
an
upside
occult
down.
roll.
Oh well, go ahead.
So
Alice.
yeah, Alice, why don't you can both give me the occult roll.
I just want to roll something and then fail it. I succeeded.
I appreciate the mild, like, mid-Atlantic accent you're settling into there, Miranda. It's delightful.
Thanks.
But this is a very...
I think this is a bib, Alice. This is a bib that you would wear at a religious establishment where you were eating seafood and you do not want to ruin your clothes. What do you think it means?
You recognize it as the sigil of a demon known as Agares.
Oh, that's not good. I've seen this before, and it's a demon. The father was right. There are demons. Well, this one, I don't know if I believe in demons as much as I believe in ghosts, but either way, this is Agares, the demon. This is its sigil, is what it means.
And in fact, you recognize with your successful occult roll that Agares is known for giving titles to people and commands a legion of lower demons.
Oh, okay. Just a thought, but that ghost that's not Walter, still interested in meeting him, might be the demon, and it may be offering people things in exchange for something, like their souls. Just a thought.
Oh, outstanding. Do you know how to get in contact with Agares then?
Well, I think we just go back to the cemetery where we talk to Walter or Agares or whoever it is. I'm also interested in talking to him.
It's that easy. I'm so happy to hear that.
If you find some mist or some fog, he seems to like to dwell around in there.
I'll just follow you around. The mist seems to follow you wherever you are, so I'll just follow you, and eventually the mist will show.
During every horrible moment of my life, there's been a mist.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Shrouded in mist.
Really? Tell me more about that.
I swore I'd never go near it again. But sure, let's go find some.
All right, let's go.
So the two of you are marching off toward the cemetery. I'm just like arm in arm, you're off to see the wizard.
We're off to see the mist demon.
No, because even if it's a demon and someone is just playing a trick, like someone thought that this gentleman was playing a trick, there would be like pulleys and, I don't know, fog, something to generate the fog that makes this happen. So I don't fully trust it yet. I will continue to be skeptical, but maybe we can talk to Walter at the cemetery.
the learned man, Ellis, I know without question that if there was a machine that could generate fog, it would only be used for the most serious purposes.
Like birthday parties or dances.
Well, if you say, yes.
So let's flip the camera back for a moment to Don following this man with 2 first names. Are you attempting to be stealthy behind him there, Don?
Absolutely.
Why don't you give me a stealth roll just for funsies?
Well, I'd rather not because my stealth is pretty low. But I'll
That's the
do it
fun of
anyway.
You'll do it anyway because the keeper said so. Is it worth 5 points of luck to stay hidden?
It is. So I keep doing that. Apologies.
So you managed to follow him, and he disappears into the doctor's office. And you see him come back out about a minute later with a briefcase.
Is it the same briefcase as the one that I picked up?
Looks very similar to the one you picked up the night before.
I will continue to follow him.
And he just sort of makes his way through the town a bit, as if he thinks he's losing anybody who's tailing him at all. And he loops around the doctor's office. And he starts walking toward the mayor's mansion in the outskirts of town.
In order to get to the mayor's mansion, he passes the road where my car is parked by the bunkhouse, because I'm parked by the diner.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What I'd like to do is I'd like to check the trunk of my car.
Sure. There's a briefcase
See
in
if
there.
I have my briefcase in there.
You have your briefcase.
In that case, I'm going to go find my friends Professor Loxton and Alice Thompson to tell them what I've discovered, which is that the number that is highest on the list on the map is in fact the area we have to go to in the final moments of the scenario.
So just to make sure I got this right, you watch him heading toward the mayor's house with this briefcase, and then you are sprinting back across town to find your friends who were heading to the
they're
cemetery.
going back. Well, I'm at number 5.
Right.
So, and then I believe they were headed up to number 4.
They were number 1 heading to number 3. They were heading straight north.
Oh, they're going back up the cemetery.
Yes.
I see. Well, then I will wander back to the cemetery.
Sure.
I'm not a runner. I'm not a sprinter. That's not me.
Okay.
Maybe I'll drive. Maybe I'll drive over. Yes, I drive over.
You can drive over.
I am American after all, and it's 2 blocks, which means I have to drive.
That tracks.
You're not wrong. You make your way back up toward the cemetery, and it's open. And we'll rule of cool say that you driving somehow takes roughly the same your car. You managed to get there around the same time as Professor Loxton and Alice.
Oh, Don, you've decided to join us.
You see a heavily dented car in the rear end pulling up. The rear fender is severely
feel like
damaged.
That's a gross. Oh, more people have hit you. I see. How unfortunate.
In the light of day, it looks worse than it did the night before.
That's how it always is, I suppose. Don, you've
I've discovered some things that I think is pertinent to the investigations that we're presently having, if you catch my drift.
Yes,
I
do
think
tell.
that young man was lying to you from start to finish, from top to bottom. I think he's about as truthful as a rat in a hat caught in a baseball bat. I don't even think that would make sense. What I'm
Well,
saying,
Beautiful New
very
York
catchy, though.
idiom. My Don, you are certainly an upstanding New Yorker based on that turn of phrase, that colloquialism.
anyway, what I'm saying is, I think that whatever is going on here has something to do with the mayor and the mayor's house.
But Don, I literally rolled psychology against the young man, and he was telling me the truth.
I believe he
spent
was
luck
telling you
on
the
it
truth,
even.
but it's possible for a man to tell the absolute truth, but still keep something aside. Anyway, are we going into the cemetery first?
Well, we were contemplating it. See, we found this paper. Well, we didn't find it. That man with two names, Charles Gregg, gave it to us, and it's in Latin, which I don't speak, but apparently the history professor here knows some of it. And there's these other words at the bottom that I'm unfamiliar with, but I am familiar with this symbol.
I know a little Latin.
Oh, but he knows a little Latin too, Professor. Do you know what these
Here
words
you
are at the
are.
bottom?
Symbols
You
at
can tell
the
it's-
bottom.
You can
And
tell
they
it's
don't look-
definitely not Latin.
That's
Latin.
definitely not Latin.
Yeah, the symbol at the bottom is the symbol of a demon that
It is not a
trades-
bib at a New England eatery, as I first thought. Alice has got it right on this regard.
Yes, it's
Keeper, would I
they
roll an
trade you
occult?
things.
Or is that just beyond me?
You can roll a cult.
It's beyond me.
Yeah, it's beyond you. I would say there's a chance you can always try, but in terms of it doing anything, yeah, what Alice is telling you is true. This is the symbol of a demon, and
Those
this
words,
demon
though.
is not a nice fellow.
Those words, though.
I
Yes, and
am.
I think
I am
oh,
entirely along for the ride here, so I'm just going to follow these two quite hilarious nutters along, just in case they find anything valuable.
yes, I do understand what you say about the mayor, though. That he could be behind all of this. Oh, he could be the demon himself, honestly, because this demon likes to cultivate a following and promise for things, and the mayor was saying that thing in the diner about keeping people in line. So perhaps the mayor is in cahoots with this demon. Perhaps Walter is as well. We don't know, and that's why Walter's come back as a ghost.
Don, what gives you this idea that young criminal hoodlum who is literally shaking in his boots is in any way behind any of this? What
I
happened?
followed him. Well, I followed him after you left, and he went into the doctor's office. Now, the doctor ran away, and he came back with something that he'd obviously stolen from the doctor, and he started taking it up to the mayor's office. The way I see it is that I didn't trust that mayor as far as I could throw him, and I'm not that strong a man. And I don't trust that boy as far as he can throw the mayor, and the mayor's a big man. And what I'm saying is, if I was to look for the shadiest person in this town, I'd be talking to the mayor.
But why would the doctor have anything of note, or do you think it was drugs? Has he stolen morphine or brandy or cocaine, laudanum?
I don't know.
What would the doctor have? That would be so interesting.
Well, I can tell you how we'll find all this out.
By going to the mayor's house.
Precisely. Alice, you have potential. You definitely have potential.
Oh, thank you.
Stick with me and we'll get a little far. Anyway, are we going into the cemetery to find this ghost?
Is there any mist?
There's not currently any mist at the cemetery, no.
There's no mist, Alice. I don't think
We're going to
he's
find
here.
him. To come back at night, that's when the mist. He's in the mist. We're pretty sure of it.
All right, Gary's in the mist. Don, can you drive?
Yeah.
The mayor's
Let's
house.
go.
Are we abandoning the cemetery? We're just off the mayor's house.
Well,
Apparently
there's no
are.
mist. There's no
There's
mist.
no
If there's no
mist.
mist, there's no voice. There's no voice. There's no deal. If there's no deal, there's no endless knowledge.
Sure,
Okay,
because
see.
wait, hold- previously you were very interested in getting to the mist.
Well, yes, I'm very interested in talking to this voice again.
Mhm.
Alice, as I explained. It's very important that I have a conversation with this bargain giver and make a bargain.
There wasn't a lot of mist when we went in previously. So let's just, humor me for a moment, 5 minutes. I'll watch my watch clock and we'll go in, see if we can drum up some mist, or maybe Walter. Is the gate open?
The gate is open.
I've made a little bridge, Alice.
Would not like to try a bridge again. Sir, I'll just walk in through the gate. It's open.
I follow Alice because I'm vaguely interested.
Walter, demon voice, Lenny, if anyone's here, show yourself.
Your voice echoes across the cemetery. And in the light of day, you can see all the gravestones in the distance. You see a small figure kneeling before one, which, as you walk a little closer and call out names for Walter, you realize it's Maddie just paying her respects at a headstone.
Whoops. There's okay.
Do you know this woman?
Yes,
Who is
that's
this woman?
Maddie. That's Walter's wife.
Oh yeah, I sort of picked up on that. She's still married to the ghost. I got it.
Yep.
Silly name. Yep. I'm all caught up.
I'll just stand quietly behind Maddie for a bit. She notices us.
As you stand behind her, you do see on the headstone her name and Walter's names are carved. Walter was born 1892. Maddie was born 1893.
Oh,
but Maddie's alive.
Walter died 1922. Maddie is alive.
So she's on the.
Oh, sorry. Hedge. We pre-carve tombstones here sometimes.
Yeah. In America, we like to say,
so
"Hey, here's where you started."
Yeah.
It's
so if you
in.
you can buy a grave plot now if you wanted, and even put your headstone on it with no end date, and then they'll just carve the end date afterwards.
I've already bought you a hedge stone.
Your plot there. So.
Yeah,
and
I've also carved both both of the dates. So I'm going to need you to keep this appointment, Hedge.
Wow, that took a turn. So, Hedge, Don, as you look at the headstone...
Sorry, I was just like, oh, whoa, we've just noticed something really important. No, it's just weird Americans.
It's just Americans being American. But you do notice, like, carved into it, it's got a lovely a cherub on the top left, a small, furry, four-legged animal in the top right. Like Don, as you look closer, you guess it could be some kind of an alpaca, perhaps carved in the headstone.
Was it Maddie?
But she just
Is that a llama? Why is there a llama on that headstone?
Oh, Walter loved alpacas. He thought they were the smartest animal. Oh, Professor, it's a furry creature.
South American, Professor.
Oh, I've heard of an alpaca. They marry for life and for death. Yes, indeed.
And as the three of you are standing there, you feel the earth kind of shake a little bit.
Alice, did you feel that?
Yes. Maddie, is this area prone to earthquakes?
Oh, it's a fairly new development in the last couple of years.
The last couple of years, earthquakes. Maddie, your husband was very young when he died.
He was, yes. It was the strangest thing. He just seemed to wither away.
Oh, that is strange. Did premature aging? When you say wither, did he get all wrinkly and old? Like a man of 48 years instead of his actual age, or 49.
He did look a bit older in his later years. We just attributed to a wasting disease of sorts. We just figured he got sick.
Maddie, do other people talk to the ghost or just you in here in the cemetery?
Oh, others come to pray. Ryan used to come more often, but he doesn't anymore.
Has this wasting disease afflicted many people in town?
Some
We saw
people.
someone with a hand condition.
Oh, yeah, I do hope that they're well. It's without the doctor in town, it's very hard to fix these things.
Where'd your doctor go, Maddie?
Well, he passed away. They found him one day sitting in his office. He looked like a desiccated husk.
How old does Maddie look?
Maddie looks to be in her 50s.
Oop.
She's got a few strands of gray hair that weren't there the day before, but
As someone with gray hair that's not in their 50s, Matt.
I said
Yeah,
not there
they're
before Miranda.
This is Miranda. And I just
Just-
want to say,
Ancient
Okay,
withered
you know.
corpses walking amongst us.
I told you, I had the NPCs written before I had the cast picked for this.
And she's in her 20s, is that right?
Yes.
hold on. Let me just, here we go.
We need to leave. And Don just like turns around and just starts walking towards his car.
To go to the mayor's house, right, Dawn?
Yeah, we're going to the mayor's house. That's right, Alice. Jump in. Just hop in.
You start walking back and you realize that it's hard to see the gate from where you are.
Well, I
Oh, thank
Knew
goodness the mist is here.
that was certainly going to happen. I cling to Dawn. Okay, we have to I'm going to just touch you a little, like my arms on you, my hands on you. Because the mist will separate us. You haven't experienced this before. But I think if I hold on to your shirt, I'll know where you're at.
Alice just has like completely inappropriately grabbed the peg.
Well, Alice, you latch on to Don there, and
Yeah, spider
just-
monkey.
as he's starting to walk back,
Don just keeps walking. I was like, and
No,
Don
latched
just
on.
we have to
walking
maintain
steadfast through
physical
the mist.
contact with each other, or else it will
The,
separate us.
the ground starts to shake a little bit more.
I start running.
Alice, are you staying latched onto him?
Yeah, I mean, I have legs too. I can run.
Gonna
Like I
make
said-
some kind of dex and or con
Okay.
roll to try and run with Alice attached to me.
I was gonna say Alice is gonna need like a dex roll to stay attached. You're gonna need a con roll to run with her attached.
3-legged
That-
race.
It's not a problem. Let me introduce you to my 80s con.
You're running like
Success.
Alice. Are you able to hang on to him?
Oh, you're here. I made dex.
Yeah,
Extreme.
you're
success.
attached to him at the hip. It's the two of you just sprinting away. But then Professor Loxton, as they're running, you see a light cutting through the fog.
Keeper in mind, this is a mania. This wasn't a bout. This was a mania.
this
that
is
I
a
have.
full-blown
So this is an
mania. That is
ongoing.
correct.
Excellent.
Yes.
Oh,
this is in perpetuity.
Agaris, is that you? You over there?
And I'm going to walk towards the light.
Sure. The two of you hear Professor Loxton shouting about a demon as you're sprinting toward the gate. All
I'm
right.
just
This is shocking to me.
nothing is
Professor,
stopping me.
If you talk to it, get its permission to use its name in print.
I'll have it sign a release, Alice. I know the deal.
Oh, this is going to be great. So, Professor Loxton, you feel almost like a thread pulling you towards this deeper into the cemetery. This mausoleum calls to you. And you feel that presence that spoke to you coming from this mausoleum. What do you do?
I walk towards it. You there? We have business. We must continue our conversation from last night.
You
I
realize
have
that
come
the
into
light,
new knowledge.
you realize the light you were following wasn't a person. Might have just been ball lightning, but something has brought you to this mausoleum. And the other two of you, if you give me a navigate roll to see if you can make your way through and not also end up at the mausoleum.
So the mausoleum, you say?
The mausoleum, indeed. Alice,
Yeah.
would you care to try to navigate the man you're master blastering?
Honestly, the mausoleum sounds like a great place.
Yeah, so the two of you, you're running, and maybe it's because you're latched on to see, but you end up nearly smashing into Professor Loxton.
Oh, good word.
Oh, good, we found him.
I thought you ran.
He's standing in front of this.
Throw the breast over my shoulder and just keep running.
Bye, both of you. I'll catch up later.
But could the three of you give me some spot hidden rolls just for funsies here?
No.
No.
I
So
don't
that's
know.
20 has
Can I
turned on
push?
us.
Can I push?
Roll 20
this?
is you can definitely push. If you can
Shall
tell me
we
how you're
create
going
a
to expose
comical
yourself
scene?
to more danger.
Can
I will
we
expose
create a
some-
comical scene? Everyone
Mhm.
passes. Can we pass a basic spot hidden? Everyone fails.
So yeah, Alice, I'm going to ask something of you. If you're going to push this, how are you exposing yourself to more danger? Like, what is the worst thing that could happen here?
Climbing off of Dawn. The worst thing that could happen is I get lost from my companions in this mist. Dawn is my like connection to reality right now, and so by getting off of him, and then I'm going to get kind of closer to the mausoleum. I'm worried the fog might separate us in some way. I'm going into more fog without him so that I can get a better look around this place that the cemetery seems to want us to be at.
All right. Give me that pushed roll.
And there's literally no way that I could fail this because I have such a good spot hidden. There you go. 31
go.
under 60.
You crawl off of Dawn for a second, and you notice something on the mausoleum. That same weird symbol carved almost by hand. It looks like it was chiseled in. But it's slightly warped. This is from that page that you had, you can kind of they look the same but different.
Ooh, nefarious. It's just like it, but slightly not like it.
Exactly. And you also notice a name on the mausoleum.
Whose name is it?
Steenwick,
Steenwick.
the mayor's last name.
Oh, the mayor. Oh, it's all coming together now, Mr. Petris. It's just like we hypothesized. Look at this over here. Some sort of that symbol, but bastardized in some way. It looks almost exactly like it, but also different from it, just enough for you to be able to tell. And it's been carved into the mausoleum for the mayor.
The mayor was quite rich, wasn't he?
He would, and if he is supplying a steady stream of supplicants for this demon, then perhaps that's where he's getting his deal, or he's doing its duty for in exchange for that. It was trying really, really hard to offer us things.
Professor, can you make me a
think-
power roll? Sorry, I was having this roll. I want you to pick right up there, down there. But what you were saying, I wanted you to okay. Keep going.
You think there's something valuable down there?
If nothing, there's valuable information because we have to uncover what is happening here. The true story must come out. As I pull out my notebook and I start writing, like, mayor was behind it all, aging people, sucking the life out of them for cash from a demon. It's a very tangled
Vampire
web.
mares.
Vampire mares. And the tangled web they weave. Yes, the vampire mare. Oh, this is going right on there with he wasn't a ghost when I
So-
married him.
Just to give you context, Alice is still talking, and I've gone down the steps.
So okay, so yeah, you're opening the mausoleum. Sounds like there. It's a heavy, heavy door. And as you open it, a large quantity of low-hanging fog spills about your ankles. But Alice, you're with your buddy. You've got Don with you. It's going to be okay.
No,
But you
no, he's
notice-
walked away from me. So I was talking. Don,
But the professor sounds like he's also walking in there as if something is drawing him in, and totally not just the Zoom chat. But the professor is walking in as it all sounds like Don is. Alice, you're left alone in this cemetery of fog.
No, thank you. But I would like to comically run into the back of Don.
So Don's got a pretty big size, so you can kind of like, he's been carrying you. So I feel like it's gonna be one of those like you're gonna bounce off of him.
Yep. Yeah. Down the
But
steps.
when you open the
Boing.
mausoleum, other than the fog, doesn't appear to be anything there.
What?
There's
no people?
There's no people.
Don's not
There
there?
are no. Well, Don's there.
Present?
Don and
Oh.
okay, the three of you are there. There are no unexpected people there. How's that?
Look, anything can. I've gotten separated from them before.
You have.
Oh. I open the door and I rush in and I run into the behind. Oh, thank God you're here.
I am
Nothing.
happy that we're taking some time to explore Miranda's abandoned issues. That's nice.
Our bill is in the mail,
Thank you. Oh,
But-
good, you're still here.
but it's just
Professor?
a dark vault.
I don't believe that for a second. I've been in many a vaults and many a bookshops and libraries and offices and studies, and there has to be some sort of hidden door around here.
Could you give me a listen roll there, Alice and Don? Professor, you already hear
Yes.
this.
So I'm a good journalist.
You are a good journalist. Not that good of a journalist.
I'm a great journalist. I'm just not very good at listening. I mostly do talking.
Don, you hear a voice that sounds like chanting coming from one of the vaults.
Is there a door?
Are you going to try to open the vault? It's a vault. I mean, it's a sealed square.
So how
Body
big
size?
is this mausoleum?
Let's say 50
You're gonna have to give us a
50
bit more.
bodies. 50 bodies.
So the vault is like okay, yeah. So the
Yeah,
vault is
they're-
just the body size door.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Apologies.
No, that's
I should have
okay.
paid attention more at that at
Clarifying.
the rehearsal about painting scenes.
I apparently have a small archaeology supply bag, which includes a small hammer and a flashlight, which it says so on this sheet right here, which means that I get the flashlight and I get the small hammer and I begin hammering away on this door.
You go to hammer it, and you realize you don't even need to hammer it. Inch. That it shouldn't be.
Awesome. Impressive use of the hammer, Don.
It's like one of these tiny little hammers.
Ding ding ding.
You get your tongue, you go dink, and the door opens. And you
And I move in.
are greeted with a smell of just stench and decay. And then
Go deeper.
you can see a light in the distance. As if this isn't really a vault, this is a tunnel.
That's it. That's it. And Don, move.
I'm gonna crawl in and start crawling towards it.
Sure. You crawl in and that voice gets louder, but it starts to sound more familiar. You hear the mayor's voice chanting in that strange language. And Professor Loxton, as you make your way to the bottom, what you see is this horrifying sight. The mists are thicker, and there are torches casting a dim light in a square room, not much larger than a 10 by 10 room. Not very large. But at the center of it, you see a mummified corpse. In fact, you recognize this face. This face was the one that you saw in the mists. It appears to be wearing robes of, as if taken from a church, priestly robes, as the mayor is just pulling at them, begging, please, please let me get rid of them. Give me the power to take care of them. Are there other two of you following him down?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Sure, because if
This
you're all
is-
going down there,
It's crawl space, right?
Yeah.
Right? Like
it opens up on the other side.
no, that's okay. I get my gun out
Sure.
and I crawl behind them with my gun in my hand.
I'm very large.
You can fit.
Okay, I'm just a reminder to Alice that she may not be able to fire
Mm-hmm.
because there's a lot of me.
Okay.
There's a lot of you.
That's fine.
And as you come out the other side, you see this unholy communion of this desiccated corpse as the mayor is talking to it.
San?
Oh, not yet. Not yet. Because there's going to be... But the mayor
It's gonna get
turns
worse first.
It's going to get worse. Of course, it's got to get worse. The mayor turns to the three of you and says, please, please, you've got to help me. He's a demon. Completely flipping from what you heard him begging while you were in the tunnel.
Of course he's a demon. Yeah, it's just and I'm going to attack the mayor. This is a trick. You leave him alone. This is for me. This is mine. And I will start pummeling the mayor.
Give me a fighting brawl roll real quick. I'll roll his dodge. He does not successfully dodge. Give me some damage as you sock the mayor in the face.
Oops.
It's 4 damage.
It's already 4. Yep.
Okay. So you sock the mayor, and then you hear a voice. It's not Don. It's not Alice. It's not the mayor. It's a very deep, raspy voice. As your fist connects with Tom's nose, a voice emanates. Stop. Why do you disturb and attack my servant? And now I'll take those sand rolls. And Professor, I already have a bout perfectly picked out for you.
I have succeeded.
You have succeeded. And did Don
I've
succeed?
also passed.
Oh, Sandro.
Oh, yeah. A corpse is talking to you.
This is like, Dawn's seen some shit, okay?
Dying corpse ain't got nothing against what Don's seen.
And he is an extreme success.
So you're still going to lose 2, which, Professor, I have a bout picked out for you as you're already indefinite. In fact, I have a little table here in this scenario that this being is the truth. His will be done no matter the cost. You want to make sure that everything that this eldritch being asks of you be done. He offered to trade. You don't need to trade anything. You'll give him what he wants. Nothing must impede his return.
I stop immediately. Hands up. Just tell me what you need. I am your servant. Tell me what you need. I'm here to do your will.
Yes, good. Good. The others are unnecessary. Deal with them, and you can take your place at my side.
Like turn and punch Alice right in the face.
Oh,
Don was between us. My
now
goodness,
before you do that, I will say,
Dodge
my
around
gun.
Don to go
Alice
after
does
Alice
have
and
a
punch.
readied firearm.
I was ready for. He's turned on
Alice
us,
was-
Don. We have to kill him. I've already pulled the trigger.
Alice did have a readied firearm, which does give her the dex advantage there, Professor. Even though
As
without the
Don
gun, you would have the
argued.
higher dex.
As Don argued very successfully, he fills the space. I mean, there's no way that
You could dodge around him to get to
that
me.
Alice
If,
could
if,
hit
if
me.
the professor is attempting to attack Alice, I will grapple with the professor.
Oh, good.
and I
That's
have
just what I
set-
wanted to shoot into two people that are grappling.
I have just
So, wow, there's going to be a lot to resolve here. To go in dex order, because Alice did have a gun ready. Alice, are you trying to shoot the professor?
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
Now
I'm trying to
remember,
shoot
you're
Nate.
shooting into melee combat, so there's special handling of that
It hasn't
necessary.
happened yet.
yeah, actually it's a bonus die,
really-
so
It is a bonus die.
yeah,
She
it's
is in
point
close
blank.
combat with you. So, Alice,
Yeah,
why don't you give me
Nate.
that? Give me the firearm.
No, I'm being grappled by Don. Don
Not
and I
yet.
are in melee.
Don hasn't grappled
Not
you yet. We're going in dex order there.
Don hasn't grappled you yet.
Alice acts first in dex order, so
I'll roll 20.
give
Please don't fail me now. Please.
you just want to shoot Nate.
Please. Oh my gosh, it's so close. Okay.
No, I will
Spend the
say,
luck.
spend the luck. You can spend 9 points of luck to shoot the professor.
Well, I get my bonus die, so hold on.
That's also true. It could be.
Okay, no,
No.
that didn't help me. But I have so much luck. I have 55 luck. I
Spend
will
some
spend.
down.
I'll spend the 9 luck.
That's
That's
2 points
9.
of damage.
My hand is 2 points of damage. Oh, that's all. That's what it rolled. Yes, it's 2 points of damage. Oh,
Yeah, pre-rolls for you on roll 20.
yeah, I
It's pretty
see
delightful.
that.
So a shot
What's the
rings
point?
out. Is Professor, you've been shot. And by my count in the dex, Alice had the readied gun. Professor, you have the higher dex than Don. And Alice has just shot you.
Well, apparently there's a straight line to Alice because she was able to shoot me. So I'm going to take that straight line. I'm going to plunge my gold-plated pen straight into her eye.
Jesus. Give me Alice, what are you gonna try to do here?
I will
Oh.
dodge out of the way of his pen.
I
Because
had
I'm
a
young and
feeling dodge was on
dexterous.
the table. So why don't you give me that fighting brawl roll? You give me the dodge
You know what?
roll.
No. Wait, I want to. I will try to dodge. There we go. Oh wait, I
dex,
rolled my
though. You
dex.
rolled-
Never mind. I didn't.
Yeah,
Roll.
it's-
Sorry, I'll
It's
blame it
still,
on the
it's still a
character
success,
sheet.
though, I think.
It's still a success. It's under 32 then, so 13 under 32.
Hard
So
success.
it's
Thank
a hard to the defender goes the success there. You
I'm going to make mine an extreme success.
okay?
It's only 6 luck.
So the professor has stabbed at you with a gold-plated pen.
Mm-hmm.
46.
Stabbed at my eye, my beautiful hazel eyes.
Your
Mhm,
beautiful
mhm.
eye, yes.
Eyes, I
Uh,
have two.
Only one of them is beautiful.
Not anymore.
He went for the nice one. So that's Alice. By my estimation, 5 points of damage there.
Well, that's an impale too.
That isn't.
No, it's not.
Jesus.
No, it's not.
With
Because
my
she had a
stabbing
hard
weapon.
success. No, because she had a hard success. You need to have 2 degrees higher.
Okay.
What?
You would need
But
to
that's-
make that
that-
critical.
That is
She has
still a
a hard
gun for
success.
Alice.
Really? Hmm.
Yeah. You'd need to have 2 degrees higher than her. You can't just get the extreme. It's treated as a normal success.
Nate, do you want to spin it down to a critical? No, don't worry. No, I'd say for the sake of keeping things moving, Alice, There's a gold-plated pen in your eye right now. Would you mind giving me a con roll? Because by my estimation, that is half of your hit points.
That is exactly half of my hit points. It was a hard success on the con.
So you're staying up, but yeah, you got a pen in your eye.
Yep. That's gonna leave a
Don.
mark.
Now,
that's a word for
to
it.
play more, since the brawl is ongoing and Loxton is presently attacking Alice, when I brawl him, I should have a bonus die.
Yes. You can definitely have a bonus die to hit the professor.
Okay, so I don't actually know how to do bonus dies on this one.
There's
You
a button at
roll
the bottom
it
that
and
says
then
bonus
it'll
penalty.
button it after you roll it. Yeah. I don't know if you need it because you had a critical success.
Wow. Roll 20 doesn't like you, Nate.
Yes, it does. I had to spend luck.
Outstanding.
So that's
Or-
8 points of damage to the professor.
Yeah, to the back of the
That
head.
brings me down to
The-
1 of 11. And
Would you
it
mind
is a
giving me
major
a
wound.
con roll? That's
Because
definitely a
I
major
had
wound.
11 to start. Let me see.
Can I get that con roll to see if the professor retains consciousness?
Uh-huh.
What a time to roll a crit. Killing.
What a
Nate.
time to roll a crit.
I remain conscious.
The professor does, in fact, remain conscious. But seeing this ensuing melee, Don, the mayor's going to charge you
Oof.
as he rolls into the... Checking for the... Okay, so the bonus side doesn't matter. That is a regular success as he... throwing little fists at you as best he can.
I'm busily engaged, so I can't fight back. So
He'll do 2 points of damage to you, just throwing his little fists at you.
oh no! For the audience, I have 16 hit points, and I have 14 hit points. I ignore him.
But then there's something that you can't quite ignore. You feel the air getting thicker as a mummified hand reaches out to touch your right arm. Are you familiar with the spell Wither Limb?
Yes. I believe it's a power roll for me.
It is an opposed power roll, yes.
This is going to go badly because I assume he has like 300 power.
Not quite 300, but it's got a good amount.
A hard success.
That is a it's not an extreme, it's a hard success. So you do succeed. Wow. It's just shy of an extreme for him. As his hand
I could hear it in
clutches
your voice,
shoulder.
the disappointment.
A little bit. So back to the top of decks of a turn order. Alice, you still have a gun. You're bleeding out of one eye.
Mm-hmm.
And the professor is just looking like he got the crap kicked out of him by Dom.
Mm-hmm. I will
mayor
shoot the
attack Dom?
professor.
Okay.
But the professor stabbed me in the eye with a
He did.
pen. So now it would be better if I just tried to club him with the gun. And so I still want to shoot him though, so I'm gonna shoot him.
Give me a shot.
If I was playing the numbers game, I would pistol whip the professor to death. But
Point blank range.
Your gun jams. You have the professor dead to rights, lined up in the shot, and then just the gun does not go off. Professor Loxton, what would you like to do as we go back to you being next in the turn order?
my vengeance on the person who just tried to shoot me point blank. And obviously, as part of my new God's will, I have been spared in order to achieve a final act of victory. And so I will attempt to fight.
Nope.
Get nothing. Nothing.
The two of you are
That's
just
a-
99 ones, 98s. Roll20 has decided to enter the combat
Roll20
aggressively.
has
Well,
chosen violence.
That is a fumble.
That is a fumble indeed. So, Nate, roll me a luck roll to see if your
Trying to
fumble
whittle us
imparts you
down.
any damage. So I'm going to pass narrative to you for a second there, Nate, because this is going to deal to you 1 point of damage as you swing and miss at Alice. But in doing so, keep in mind, I'm tracking your hit points here, but my estimates, you have 1 hit point left. How does Professor Loxton die?
Well, I think I stumble into the pin and drive it deeper into Alice's eye, and it pokes me for one point of
you
damage.
you failed the luck roll, so let's not
You
say it
gave me
goes deeper
narrative
into her.
control. That's the only thing I can think of.
And it pokes him for 1 point of damage. Yeah.
All right, so if you deny that,
it hits your
then-
jugular.
It's
then
like
how's
we're
that?
Lady in the Tramping with our eyes in this pen.
or alternatively, that exact same thing could happen, but I've lost balance, overbalanced, blood. Well, no, what was this? This was a bludgeon, right? What did you hit? You hit me with the brass knuckles, Don. So I'm seeing triple, quadruple with that amazing hit. And when I go to all of my strength, all of my effort to hit Alice, it's not even Alice. It's some vision of Alice that I see with my concussed brain, and I fall back or over this mummified corpse and slam my head into the corner of the plinth that this mummy is sitting on, and with that cantaloupe hitting the ground sound, I slowly slide down to the ground dead.
Thanks, Hillary Swankin, $1 Million Baby.
Spoilers. Jeez.
It's been out for how many years?
God, I've never
I
seen
haven't
it, and
seen
I was thinking about watching it. Maybe.
There you are. So, Alice, so you've already done. You now have a dead professor at the bottom of a small flight of stairs, a mayor freaking out, pounding on your back, and a talking mummified corpse.
Yeah. Yeah, I know exactly what to do. I run away.
Sure.
Yeah. This is an important part of Don's personality coming out here, which is that he is not interested in fighting a literal mummy, and he runs away. Also, Alice, he does not take you with him. He runs away and he leaves you.
You're
Damn, what a dick. So, Alice, the
doesn't
mayor's
realize what's happening. Yeah.
mayor's going to turn his attention to you
Great.
and just miss in a mist-filled room, throws a punch and misses.
Mm-hmm.
But the mummified creature, this monster,
Mm-hmm.
its hand goes to reach out towards you, and that same shoulder that you feel like it touched you before.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you give me an opposed power roll?
Okay.
It's a regular success for the Jesus Christ. Yeah, you feel this like surge of pain for a second in your arm.
And
But
I've been in this position before, and I say, you cannot touch a lady without her permission.
And the hand just retreats a little bit. But we come to the top of the dex order again, and that's, well, your gun is jammed, but you still have the highest dex in the room of the
Mhm.
people who are alive.
Mm-hmm.
So
Were there, I can't remember if you said it or not, were there demon symbols around this room?
not in the room, no.
Oh, son of a biscuit. Okay. That ruins that plan for me, but the mayor's here and the demon guy is here. Here's what I would like to do is I would like to attempt to take the place of the mayor. I don't know what you're giving him, but I have a voice that will reach farther, much farther than the mayor. And actually, if you would just give me like 30 minutes to interview you, it'll be the best story anyone's ever heard. I'm pretty sure I can make that little symbol thing, and just but many people think thousands and thousands of readers will hear what you have to say.
Give me a persuade roll.
It felt pretty
Okay,
charming,
but I'm talking
personally.
really fast.
That did feel
felt
pretty charming.
I don't think it felt charming at all. I think it felt like I was talking very fast.
Would you like a fast talk roll for this?
I would like a fast talk roll, please. I mean, I didn't think about it. I didn't really care what the roll was when I was doing it. But that is my best. But I'll up to the keeper. Persuade is fine, or fast talk.
Persuade sounds better because you're trying to beg.
Okay.
Fast talk to me always sounds like you're trying to bullshit somebody.
I know, and I'm not bullshitting. I'll do persuade.
You are not. You're being honest.
I will push the roll.
I will give you a bonus die first because of what the creature, the happy sad die said. Give Miranda a bonus die.
I don't need it. 20, or I do need it. I mean, I don't need to push. 21 over 20 or under 25.
You see this creature just reach out for a minute, takes its hand off of your shoulder, and places it on the mayor's head. And like a juice box, the mayor slowly starts to shrivel, as if the life force inside of him is being drained. And his desiccated corpse. Normally that's for Sandro, but we're in the epilogue territory here. You feel this discomfort as his body just shrivels and becomes a desiccated husk. And then you feel a warmth in your chest, a burning power. And you realize you're not afraid anymore. These mists, they aren't scary. They're not going to hurt you. These mists are going to help you. And you will go forth and tell the story of the dreamer of death, bringing new disciples unto him. He knows that you will go out and eventually gain for him the power he desires. Your magazine booms, the readership quadruples overnight. You can't walk down a single street without somebody having a copy of Strange But True in their hands. But Don, one day you flee town. You grab the briefcase.
I was going to say, can I slightly alter that?
Oh, yeah, go for it.
I think I flee to the mayor's house, and I think I get caught just rummaging through his things, trying to find anything occult and interesting and special, and just be with the car. And in some part of their either police or the mummy or something is probably going to interrupt me as I basically just try and steal everything from this man's house.
As you're robbing his house, you find a few messed up things. You find a stolen church missal with a page torn out of it for the Latin Mass. And in the back room, one thing that gives you a chill, you find the desiccated corpse of Charles Gregg, drained of all life. But he's holding that briefcase in his hands.
I take the briefcase.
I bet you do. And you take the briefcase and you beat feet out of town, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
You realize that the briefcase, neither of them were authentic, but you could probably sell them. But then one day you're setting up shop, selling your items. and somebody brings in a strange scroll with a demonic symbol on it, on the seal. And you buy it. You're curious.
Yeah.
You read it. It talks about a powerful entity rising to power. But the next day, the headlines in the papers are a little different. That earthquakes ripped through a small town in Maine and swallowed it into the earth. There were no survivors. No name was given for the town. You know what town it was. You know that the things you saw there will probably haunt you for the rest of your life, but hey, you've got a scroll to sell. And that, dear players, is Ghost Trade. I've been your keeper. I hope you had fun. They did message me. Rina is doing better now. They laid down for a bit. They got some water. They're doing a lot better.
Excellent. Really good. So basically, all I want you to do is just pick out something that you really liked about the scenario, whether the way it was run, something interesting about it, and just, be nice to Doc for a few minutes as we watch his face go redder and redder.
Hard for me.
And redder. Would anyone like to start?
Doc, I know you made these pre-gens, and mine had a ton of fun things to play with. I know I gave you a hard time about being afraid of fog, but I had a lot of fun playing this character that you made. I think you gave them a lot of fun and interesting things to be able to do and have. So pre-gens are important in a scenario, and I thought these were really fun ones. So
thank you.
Nate?
I grew up at a time when the little corner stores would have, especially Northern Michigan, would have video rental, would have magazine, would have lending library, and the diner with the library, for some like little tiny detail, but the diner with the library, that tickled me. I just loved that little detail, and it really reminded me of the actual. I'm getting my VHS tapes next to the Nightcrawler case in the store up north kind of thing, and just a little tiny detail like that, but I really loved it.
I have a thing for little sandbox mysteries. I do. I think that it's just the most fun way to play Call of Cthulhu, and I think this is a really good example of that. I think there was enough here for us to explore and go different directions, and I think that every single time you play this, it won't play out the same way, which is really, really nice. And I think that's a really fun thing for a scenario, because it means that when you run it, each time you play it, you're discovering what happens too, which is really pleasant. So I think it was great. Anything we missed, anything we should know, any extra stuff that you just want to let us know at this point, Doc?
I'll say, so Hedge, you kind of nailed you hit the nail on the head with the idea of it being a complete sandbox, because every time I have run this, everybody's taken a completely different route. A few things that I kind of threw in there as a little bit of exposition at the end about the if you had gone to the church. I know we sent Rina there to check it out, and the father got to live happily ever after. He escaped the town before its destruction, but the priest accuses any outsiders of stealing the robes or the missal, saying, "Hey, I don't like people stealing things from my church." And also the big implication is that Charles Gregg, the man with two first names that no one can trust, I have had runs of this where players literally beat him to death in the train station because they failed psychology rolls against him and just decided, well, he's lying to me. Start pistol whipping him and beating him with brass knuckles until he finally says, I don't know anything. But it is fun because as a sandbox, there's never a set list of what you have to check. Had you gone to the mayor's house, I had to move the cemetery. I messaged you, Hedge, in the middle of things saying, I'm going to start moving it there. Had you gone to the mayor's house instead of the cemetery, he would have directly implicated himself through just fumbling words and then sprint across town to the mausoleum. Mm-hmm. So all roads do eventually tunnel and funnel into the mausoleum itself. The ghost itself, as I'm sure we all picked up on, hopefully, was the mayor at night going to the mausoleum. Lenny is a monster of a character that I'm glad nobody decided to engage in physical combat with, because you very rarely see well, he's got a 1d6 damage bonus, and a shovel, according to the handbook, does 1d8 damage. So that is 1d8 plus 1d6. He could theoretically kill someone outright, but I really feel like in terms of things you missed, it's more so where things got shuffled to more than anything, because the scenario itself, the floating ritual page that Professor Loxton was so keen to want to read but gave up halfway through, that could be anywhere. That could be in the church. That could be at the diner. That could be, it's actually as written. It says explicitly, just give it to your players when it feels right.
Nice.
I tried to write this to be a complete sandbox of, here's a small town. Had you tried to leave early, you'd be turned around.
You get turned around. Yeah. Yeah, quite classic. Brilliant.
Like,
okay, so
but thank you so much for playing. Seriously, this is a great opportunity. And I will admit, I was really kind of nervous when we got started, but I'd like to think I settled into it about after that first 15 minutes, as Bridget always says.
Yeah, brilliant.
You're all fantastic.
Thank you so much, Doc. All I'm going to do is I'm now going to go around the table, just give you all a chance to tell us how to follow you, find you, or any other thing you want to promote right now, because I know two of you are about to release a podcast. Miranda, why don't you start?
I'm Miranda. I'm one of those two people. You can find me on the old ways. You can find me here on the Playhouse. You can find me sometimes streaming over on Symphony, and soon on June 17th, because I put it in my calendar, June 17th, then me and Nate will release our first episode of Roll Better together. So look out for that.
You got me an anniversary present?
Watch out. Is that our anniversary?
The 17th is my anniversary.
With me?
The 17th is the day that I'm immigrating.
Miranda?
Well, then no, I didn't.
Immigrating from where to where?
It's
from
the anniversary.
From Scotland to Sweden.
I didn't realize the 17th was such a momentous date, Miranda.
Mm-hmm. It might
we
be my
should have
mom's
checked
birthday,
with everyone
honestly.
before.
You're really just hitting all the numbers here. You love it.
Nate, where can we find you?
Hey,
everywhere.
I'm on a lot of Discords as well. Your friend Nate. I am also streaming on the old ways, Elliot Winters, on our Delta Green Impossible Landscapes campaign. I run a public access game every other Tuesday on Symphony. I think we have 2 more sessions of that, and that's a lot of fun. The podcast that we talked about, and who knows, look for more. There's more stuff coming. A lot of fun. Thank you, Matt, for that. Miranda, thank Hedge for that ruling on that rule that stopped me from killing you outright. He was wrong on that, but we'll argue about that later. I'm very salty because we keep a running tally of characters killed, and you stole a tally mark from me, Hedge, and I will take that out on you at some point in the future. Thank you so much for having me on Playhouse. I love what you guys do here, and this is a wonderful place.
Okay, and just before I hand over to you, Doc, thank you so much to Rina. If you don't know, Rina is on all the podcasts and all the Discords. You can find them anywhere, and they write amazing scenarios, and you should go buy all of them, especially Saturday the 14th, which is one of my favorites. Doc?
I was actually going to do the same thing. I queued up Discord so I could give how to get in touch with Rina. It is The Inevitable Rina on every conceivable Call of Cthulhu, horror, tabletop RPG, gaming, everything. They write fantastic scenarios. They were actually a proofreader / editor for this before I put it up on the repository and made all those changes to the character sheets that I shouldn't have. But they're fantastic, and I want to also give them a shout out for just supporting me in my writing, because I have just started writing things for the repository about 2 years ago. I'm found on all the Discords for various things, How We Roll, Old Ways, Symphony, where I've also been appeared on a few streams there with Cult Divinity Lost, Alien RPG, and the lovely Sonata 60 Minutes of Improvised Horror. Those are super fantastic. And if you like this scenario, or you'd like to read any of the other ones I've wrote, All Part of the Game was run as a Symphony stream back in May for Miskatonic May. This one I submitted to the Playhouse, and Hedge and I've been like ships in the night trying to get this thing scheduled. So I am overwhelmed to be here. when I say that I was very, very nervous to have this opportunity, there's a reason I handpicked the cast that I did, because I've played with the three of these people before, and I knew they would support. And on top of this, there's also a new scenario I just put out on the repository called Lights in the Trees. It is set in 1975, New York City, following some soldiers who came back from Vietnam. Something may have come back with them. So please check those out. I would be forever grateful if you did. Thank you so much to Hedge and Newman in absentia and Steve running all the crazy stuff on Twitch. I keep seeing on my second screen of like the fog rolling in was a beautiful. Thank you so much to the Playhouse for having me. Thank you to my players for buying into this and just leaning into the chaos, because this as a sandbox does get a little chaotic, but it's a lot of fun. And so truly thank you to everyone involved here.
And I'm John Hedge. I'm the backstage manager at the Playhouse. Come join us all over the place. Thank you for listening to this episode at the Miskatonic Playhouse. Please don't get lost in the mist on your way out.